What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Good morning, good afternoon, good night, wherever you at in the world. Welcome to the city. On today's episode, we have a bit of a controversial guest, an interesting social media head figure, however you want to look at him, however you know him, however you want to call him. We know him as CORY Flash. The All-Star Kid joins us here today live. Welcome to the show. Folks, I am your host, box office hit global phenomenon, Kevin Impact. And at this time, I'm happy to bring on to the show as everybody starts to fill in. And before I bring them out, I just want to send a special shout out to our sponsor, HTW, Heel Turn Wrestling. Them boys right there, big support, big love. Look forward to being on the show once again. Last time we were here, obviously, we had Nick Kaiken. We've had a few guests stop by ever since. It's been interesting. Jocelyn was another good episode. Been a lot of good support, a lot of good love on social media. We appreciate it. Definitely smash the like button, subscribe. Everybody tuning in now and everybody that'll check it out later. A link to their group description. A link to their group will be in the description after this show. But without further ado, as the crowd continues to pile up here and we wait for everybody else to join us, I'm going to introduce my guest at this time. So I want to go ahead and momentarily see if we could get this man here. I'm having some issues here, technical issues. Give me a moment. All right, let's get this correct. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show today, All-Star Kid CORY Flash. Mr. Hayes is here. CORY, welcome to the show. Good to have you.
It's good to be here, my brother. How we doing?
All right, now you son of a gun. Let's not break them characters. You know what I mean? But it's good to hear from you, my brother. I hope you're doing all right. You know, I would imagine you had a lot of different things going on. Your Twitter's always busy. You always got stuff going on. Happy to talk to you about a lot of those things here today. You know, we'll talk about a lot of things you love to talk about that I want to ask you about, and some of the fans might want to ask you about. Let me turn these comments on. Yes, sir. We got the Third Eye Chris Conscious watching. We got Mark Bannon watching. Indeed, people piling in. People ready for this, man. I got private questions. I have questions from different people that want to know, different wrestlers, people who might stop by. That's what's always fun about these shows, that you never know who's going to stop by in the comment section, and then you get a whole nother conversation, you know. And even though I am sort of prepared for this episode, you know, there's times I go on the air and you guys know that I'm never really prepared because I don't need a damn script. But I'm not going to get fired this episode, you know. This episode, Conscience Shenton, I came with a script. So, you know, keep me on payroll, and I'm ready to roll. But it's good to have you here. And we got 4 people tuning in. And speak of the devil himself, the boss man Shendon watching right now. My 2 bosses are watching right now. So let's make sure I do a good job. So it's good to have you here, man. It's always fun to talk with you. Call me old if you want to, but I can't remember ever having you on the City of Impact. So this is fun. Let's start with this. What do you think of the show so far in its progress, man? You happy to be here or what?
Yeah, absolutely. City of Impact has been fun to watch the different guests when I've had the time to tune in live, and when I've been able to watch replays on the channel. It's been fun. It's been fun to watch. Like you said, it's basically another version of Live and Uncensored. It's you just go off the hip, you shoot, and you go from there. So it's been enjoyable to see from when it started to now how it's grown, and I'm glad to be here.
I think Live and Uncensored is a perfect example, comparison of what the City of Impact is sort of like. I mean, you would expect it to be edgy and unpredictable if it's going to be a Kevin Impact show. But Live and Uncensored was also a good show, man. We might want to talk to my creative team and see if we could get that back up and running sometime real soon. You know what I mean? But yeah, we definitely didn't run away from Live and Uncensored. I mean, there's definitely been some interesting things that have happened on that show as well. Especially one episode that we actually had to take off the air. But nonetheless, uh, before anybody drop any N words here today, um, we just want to continue welcoming everybody tuning in, and I'm gonna dive in and out. I'm gonna have fun with Corey today with this episode. When I have had the opportunity to talk with him in the past, for those who follow the product, that we've talked to him about his career, his wrestling career, and at some point, I'm going to bring him back to talk about his career all over again as he continues to add to his resume. But I don't want to talk about entirely his career today. I want to talk about different things. I want to have fun with this. So Corey knows some of the things we're going to talk about. There's other stuff he doesn't know we're going to talk about. It's just going to be unpredictable live on the air,
Oh
and
boy.
you never know what's going to happen. You know what I mean? But nonetheless, how's it going, Amber? Thanks for tuning in. Um, so I think we could probably start somewhere around 2K25. What do you think of the game? Are you enjoying it, man?
I still really haven't been able to dive in as much as I've wanted to so far. What I've done is I played the showcase mode, which showcase was fun. The whole showcase centered around the bloodline. These matches that some of them have never happened in real life, but you had to include bloodline members into it. So you just made made up matches. It was
Yeah,
fun. I enjoyed showcase. I love that they had war games in the showcase. They had Money in the Bank in there, all these different matches in there. So I enjoyed Showcase. I'm doing my rise right now. I'm actually doing the female wrestler one first, and it's good. There's a bunch of different stories in there that you're gonna have to go back and play it a few times. I'm still on the first round of my rise right now, but
yeah.
I've ultimately enjoyed what I've seen so far. 2K did a good job with their storytelling when it comes to my rise, so I'm looking forward to continuing my progress with that, and I'm also looking forward to finally actually being able to dive in and see what other creative stuff they have within the game. The island, I still have not been able to touch the island yet. I haven't heard anything from people about the island, so I'm gonna have to check it out. I might even check it out tonight just to see how that works. But 2K25 so far looks like it's one of the best games that WWE has put out.
Yeah, I'm prone to agree with that. I think it's an absolute excellent upgrade. I mean, no game is going to be perfect, but I mean, we got to start really making the effort with 2K to try to produce um, a game that's not going to be every year is just going to be broken. You know what I mean? Because it doesn't work, and it comes off real scam when you're selling shit. You put a shit on the shelf that you're charging X amount of dollars for, and it's not like it's broken or it doesn't properly work. You know, I think a lot of people would argue or would remember that, or were used to that games used to come out. You never really used to buy a game and it be broken. That's just something that became a new thing of the modern games. It being a computer program. You got Microsoft, you got Sony. You would expect that there'll be bugs and issues and whatnot. But we got to work on this. We can't be just putting games out that are just broken every single year. 2K is broken, and that's just what it is. They'll patch it up from left to right, but this isn't the military. We aren't fighting a war. I mean, I guess we are fighting a war because it's a gamble every time you purchase one of their games, but we aren't fighting a war. We shouldn't have to wait for patches and people to get all covered up and and amphetamine and all this stuff. You know what I mean? That's what it feels like. You know what I mean? So. Um, but I haven't had an opportunity to try it out yet. A lot of people have. Looking forward to it. I think there's a lot of positivity coming out of it, more positivity than negative. So it's good. It's good progress. They really need to work into perfecting the game to where every year it comes out, you don't have to worry about bugs and issues, and your concerns are DLC and stuff like that, you know.
Hundred
But
percent.
yeah, it's good. It's good to hear that you're enjoying the game. You know, at the end of the day, I have my opinion. You have yours. You know, just because it's my show doesn't mean you have to agree with me. Doesn't mean you have to believe what I believe. You know, that's why we have the show because it's my ideas against my guests. You know what I mean? That's what makes it fun and interesting. Um, but I mean, so far so good from what I'm saying. I'm gonna try to keep an eye out on these comments. Comment from Chandler. Chill out with these profile pics. I mean, I told Corey before we went live that we should have good looking profile pictures. We put the time and effort to fix it. He fixed it. I fixed mine's, and it looks great, man. You know what I mean? So that's what's up. It kind of reminds me of GM mode a little bit. So this is pretty dope. Uh, but all in good fun. Um, there's so many areas to dive in with this. This is one of the things that I always have complications with City of Impact because it's just like, where do we go next? You know what I mean? So I guess we should probably just mention, good SmackDown yesterday. Seems positive so far. Uh, there's probably an arsenal of topics to talk about, with the company, with the brand, the progress they've been making, how things have changed, advanced, progress. Um, and I'm going to go off of comments as well. And I'm going to go off of the questions that I have as well for you. But I mean, I think that maybe we could dive into, you know, maybe we could dive into home a little bit. At the end of the day, JTV is going to be our home, but we wouldn't have JTV if it wasn't for the big dub. You know what I mean? Big dub WE. So, I mean, lot of different things to dive in, a lot of different topics. Obviously, we're getting ready for WrestleMania at some point. Um, Conversation with No Kills yesterday. We kind of went back and forth about Charlotte, and I wasn't planning on getting into that, but he decided to dive into that thing for like an hour, and we just kept going back and forth, back and forth. And I told him that we need a lot more people to speak up about shit because that's how we make change. Speaking of change, before we even dive into it, is sort of in the same universe of conversation and topic is your Twitter and the work that you do as a wrestling journalist. Recently, I've noticed. I don't want to assume because I was not necessarily diving into your Twitter and in depth into your Twitter for years and years and years. I would just see what I can from time to time, but I started becoming more interested in your Twitter because you have a lot to say and you do a lot of media on there. And I said, what would be the best way for me to start giving back and doing my part? And I thought, what if I started commenting on everything he's got going on? You know what I mean? People are going to see that you obviously have a strong following on there, which took you time to build. When you decided to go into that, when, where, and why in your mind did you decide to dive into becoming some sort of a journalist, operating within that, and just bringing that media to fans worldwide to get that exposure on yourself
We're
that you
gonna
could
we're gonna
remember?
shoot. We're gonna shoot right now. So I'm
Yeah,
gonna
I,
go
I mean, it's
into
my show. You
real
know,
life.
we're going to
Yeah,
see.
I'm
You
gonna go
know,
into real life. So last year, I in February last year, I lost my job. Right, and the only thing I really had going for me at the time was professional wrestling. So I was on there. I jumped into the wrestling community on Twitter. Around the time I think I only had like 5,000 followers on there. I jumped into the industry, started watching all the shows religiously on there. So I started doing the whole you got to be positive for everything thing on there,
right?
trying to make an impact, no pun intended, trying to make an impact with people on there. And
Yeah,
people noticed, people in the industry noticed, and they started feeding me information, which I didn't ask for. I didn't ask for none of the information or anything. They just started giving it to me because they're like, "You're a good person. You're a positive person. You're trying to change the industry for the better." So we're gonna start giving you rundowns of what's gonna happen on the shows before the shows air, and this I'm like, oh, okay. So I'll just start posting these. And when I started posting them, people started taking them, started following me, and then it just took off from there. So for like the last year I've been, I guess you could say, a journalistic side covering everything, but at
Well,
the
I mean,
same
that's what
time I'm
it
still,
is. You know what
yeah.
I mean? I call it like I see it, brother. You know what I mean? That's what you're doing. You're being a journalist because you're reporting on things. And it's interesting because it's not just wrestling. I also see sports on there. You know, you cover NBA and NFL stuff as well, which is dope. And when it comes to professional sports, you and I both know, just like everybody else tuning in, that sports and pro wrestling really do go hand in hand. They really, really do. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Because it's a spectacle, and there's so many similarities in it and layers that come out of it. You know what I mean? The stadiums, the fans, the some of that athleticism, charisma, so that's why everybody in sports and professional wrestling tend to show love to each other. And speaking of showing love to each other, something interesting to me for many, many years, and this is your chuckle part, but it's been interesting to me how so many so-called and many UFC people, fighters, fighting wrestlers, mixed martial artists, kickboxers, and fans worldwide had something negative to say about professional wrestling for the longest time, when professional wrestling has always existed in MMA. And not to mention, like they just had all these thoughts about pro wrestling, but the irony that UFC and WWE are 2-1 now. The irony of that is insane. You know what I mean? Because it never would have occurred to me. Um, I've been sort of a UFC fan always. I got really into it in '09. '09, you had Rampage Jackson and all these people. Randy Couture, you know what I mean, was still doing his thing. Chuck Liddell was still doing his thing. You had a lot of really familiar faces around. And I don't really follow UFC too much anymore. You know what I mean? I think John Jones is probably the only person I know, and some of the other girls. But the irony that both companies are 2-1. Any thoughts on that before we keep moving forward?
Yeah, it's like you said, sports and wrestling are go hand in hand with each other. UFC fans have always looked down on what they call the little brother. They call it the little
Yeah,
brother. They call professional wrestling the little brother, but I don't agree. Because as you mentioned earlier, the MMA world takes stuff from professional wrestling. You see wrestling celebrations in the octagon. You see submissions from professional wrestling. You see all
yeah.
this different stuff. So they go hand in hand with each other. Like you said, it's funny that they're now under the same umbrella. You have UFC and WWE both under the TKO umbrella. So it's funny to me, the change up from the majority of the fan base, at least. Some of them still obviously are haters and they're gonna forever hate, but the majority, the change up's funny just because they're owned by the same people now.
Well, I mean, it's always gonna be that one person that's always gonna try to pull that hat and say, "Oh, wrestling is fake." You know what I mean? And I often have a short answer for that, and it's like, well, if it's fake, why don't you try it?
Yep,
And then I
I say
just
the
don't
same
have to
thing.
say nothing else. We're going in and out of kayfabe here. Well, going in and out of kayfabe, I've tried it, and I can tell you it's not fake. And I found that out personally. So it's interesting to me when people say that, and it's usually just someone who doesn't know what they're talking about. You know what I mean? Um, so it's just interesting. It's just interesting how everything develops, and somebody always wants to have an opinion on something. Um, Makes me laugh a little bit, and life to me is all about laughter because a lot of interesting things always happen, and somebody always has to have an opinion about something. But that's just where we're at with it. So let me look at the comments here. A lot of different comments. We'll try to go step by step, different questions. Um, WrestleMania is coming up. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts on WrestleMania itself, or the one coming up.
Well, WrestleMania coming up, and also the match card, because I was trying to say I had a conversation with Kills also yesterday, and he said that he's not very interested in any of the matches. He said he's interested in Charlotte's match, in the three-way match, and the world title match with Cena and Cody. And that to me was just really shocking that he would say that. You know what I mean? Because personally, I don't. It's not that I just don't think. I know that Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair is not an important match at all, let alone a match that should be at WrestleMania. But that's my opinion for anybody who might snap their back over that. Hopefully he's not one of them, and he is listening. So we could dive into this if you want to. We got Corey here. We're just having fun. We're live. But the thing is that I just don't think it should be a WrestleMania match. I am looking forward to the Pentagon match with some of the other guys. Braun Strowman is still very green, very, very, bland. But he's a great athlete. Braun Strowman's best policy is just he has the look, and he can move really good. He's a very good wrestler as well. And you got a little bit of that football background. So
Let me correct you real quick. Let me
well, go
correct
ahead.
you real quick.
There's the mic.
You think of Braun Breaker, not Braun Strowman.
I said Braun Strowman.
Yeah.
Oh, my fault. I'm sorry about that. Hey, my bad. My bad. My bad.
Let me
Yeah, I'm talking about.
look at the. I see a comment from Shen because you just
Yeah.
mentioned her. You just mentioned Charlotte Flair. Shen then asked a question: why Charlotte Flair is great? Her in-ring skills, her mic skills, because her pops. Does she deserve to win the 17th World Championship or however many she got? So I am not a fan of Charlotte Flair. She is a nepo baby. The only reason Charlotte Flair is in the business is because her father is Ric Flair. The only reason she gets a
Yes,
push is
sir.
because her father is Ric Flair. She gets
Yes, sir.
absolutely no pop from the crowd. The fans do not like her.
Yeah,
She does not deserve to be in any title picture. But
I
anytime she
agree.
seems to come back from an injury or something, she gets right into a title picture, and it's ridiculous.
It's
It's
weird.
ridiculous.
It's very strange.
Charlotte Flair is a four horsewoman. Yes. Is she good in the ring? Yes. But does she deserve the treatment that she gets, the royalty treatment? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And her and Tiffany Stratton, I'm sure, are going to have a good match at WrestleMania. But
I hope so.
they're ultimately going to end up putting over Charlotte Flair, which really pisses
I
me
think
off.
so.
I'm getting
Yeah, I think
tired.
so.
I'm getting
Yeah, I think
tired of the
so.
same old shit.
Because it looks like they're setting up for her and Jade, which is going to be massive.
I mean, that
That's going
match
to be
is going to be
massive for the
great, but
company. Yeah.
at the same time, I'm like I said, I'm not a fan of Charlotte Flair. I've never been a fan of Charlotte Flair.
Too
She
much
just
focus,
gets
bro. Too
it's
much focus on her.
her
Way too much
entire
focus.
persona. Her entire persona is based off of her father. Is there anything original in her body?
Right.
Being based off of your father, that's your whole persona, the whole woo, the figure eight. Can you do
Yeah.
anything original? Like
Yeah.
your promo style is like your father too.
Yeah.
What is original about you? If you
Yeah.
brought
But
out a different side of you, maybe I would enjoy it. But everything you do is based off of your dad, and your dad was horrible. So I'm
you,
not a fan.
you, you think Ric Flair was bad? You think he was trash?
Ric Flair was terrible. Ric Flair was absolutely terrible. And
And when you say terrible, do you mean on the mic, in the ring, as a character?
in the
I
ring,
mean, as a
his character work and his mic work was great, but in the ring he stinks. Ric Flair stinks. I'm
damn.
sorry, but Ric Flair is terrible.
Hey, this is Corey Flash's opinion. People could argue in the comments. They can agree, disagree. I think Ric Flair was an excellent worker in the ring. I mean, he definitely wasn't no Shawn Michaels or Bret Hart or Ricky Steamboat, but I mean, he was a real good worker. But I think he falls back into people that were like watching it in the 70s and 80s kind of thing. Because by the time it got to the 90s, I mean, me and No Kills and some of us here was watching. Some of y'all wasn't around, but some of us was watching. I watched him on WCW, and I thought he was pretty good wrestler, but I wasn't necessarily picking Ric Flair on Nitro and Thunder and all that all the time. You know what I'm saying? Even when on Shut Your Mouth, I mean, was any of y'all really playing with Ric Flair? on Here Comes the Pain and Shut Your Mouth and all that and SVR? Because I definitely was not. I mean, the only time I could remember really messing with Ric Flair was Evolution. You know, the Evolution thing was a big deal. It took off, it worked, it was good. You know what I mean? And it helped out talent that was coming up. You know,
Yeah,
Batista and Randy Orton benefit from
you
it. You want to
you
add
talk
something?
about yeah, you talk about you just mentioned Evolution and Randy Orton. I'm reading the
Yeah.
comment asking about do I consider Randy Orton a nepo baby? Of course, Randy Orton's a nepo baby, but the difference between Randy Orton and Charlotte Flair is Randy Orton is his own person. He's not piggybacking off of Bob. He's not piggybacking off of his father's legacy. Randy Orton did what he did for himself, and he built his character in a way that he is his own self, and he's a legend in this business. Charlotte Flair's entire thing is based off of Rick, so that's the difference between the two of them.
Yeah, I agree with that. I definitely agree with that, you know. And the thing is, Charlotte been around for a long time. For anybody really wondering how was it possible for her to eat up Tiffany Stratton in that promo they did, like I feel like they're just setting Tiffany up and just hurting her by putting up against Charlotte. You know, me and No Kills, like I said, we stood there debating about it, and it became a situation where it was like he made a lot of good points. I'm not going to go on here live and be fake and lie about it. He said a lot of interesting things that I like that he said. You know. Um, Obviously, Charlotte is a marquee player in the company, and that's because the company has pushed her and provided her with the resources and have prided her as a major deal. And in today's age, today's fan of professional wrestling doesn't really look at quality and what actually counts. They go off of hype. If Triple H and WWE Creative is telling you, hey, Corey Flash is the GOAT, Corey Flash is the greatest thing in the world, these fans are not going to go, wait a minute, he's, you know, what about this, and this, and this? They're just going to go, oh, yeah, it's true because they're saying he is. You know what I mean? They just buy into that. And we need to just stop doing that. We need to actually start focusing on the quality of things. Charlotte Flair used to be a really great wrestler. I believe it stopped somewhere around 16 or 17. And this is a big shout out to Kill because he's going to go on here and say that she lives rent free in my mind. You know,
Oh,
I
he's
didn't
already
necessarily.
talking in the comments about it.
Yeah, I bet he is, but I am not necessarily. I didn't necessarily plan to go in here talking about Charlotte. We just went into this, so I'm just discussing it since we're talking about it. But yeah, in my own opinion, you know, because No Kills has excellent thoughts, and I'm happy to bring him on here soon so he could tell y'all his take on Charlotte and all that. But my take, Corey's giving you his, I'm giving you mine, and I'm not looking to go too far with this because I want to talk to Corey, but the thing is, it's like a lot of what Corey said, you know, but Charlotte has been around for quite some time. Charlotte was on WCW Nitro for crying out loud. For those of you that don't know that company, you know, I mean, it used to be WWE's competitor back in the day when we was on the way up. And so she's been around. She's had a lot of experience for a long time, but you know, we need to be honest. We need to stop overhyping things. We need to just keep it real. Charlotte used to wrestle real good back then. You know, now she can still have some good matches, but she's really wrestling like Ric Flair on his last leg. I don't know if y'all saw some of Ric Flair's last matches when he was on his way out, but it was bad. You know, she doesn't necessarily move like she used to back in her early days of coming from NXT to the main roster, and she's just very lazy. Charlotte Flair's character is open hand. Give me what I want. You know what I mean? The Batista thing. Give me what I want. You know, that shit is garbage in my opinion. You know what I mean? You got to work when you get to the main roster. You got to hold it down. You know what I mean? Me and Kills are from the Attitude Era. We've argued about the difference of that era superstar caliber and now the superstar calibers from now. Just, you know, he said that things evolve and stuff like that. I can't necessarily call hard work turning into laziness as evolution. I can't call that evolving and evolution because that just takes away. You know what I'm saying? If you're paying for 10 donuts and they're giving you 5 donuts and making you pay the price or making you pay more than double the price you pay for 10 donuts, you know, and they're telling you it's good shit like Vince would, it's a scam and it's lazy and it's fucking shit. You know, and that's really what you get with Charlotte Flair. Just show up, praise me, give me my title shot. I'm the best of all time. how are you the best of all time? You know what I'm saying? What have you actually done besides being handed multiple championships, being put in positions just like Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins and a lot of these people that when you really pass them the mic and you want them to be superstars, conscience, they just can't do it. You know what I mean? And I have an issue with that. You know what I mean? Because back in our time in the Attitude Era, you pass the mic, people would either mess up or people would figure it out. Scott Hall used to say, hey, you sink or swim. And that's how this business is. It's a cutthroat business, you know? At least it still is, but it changed in a way that, and I'm not going to act like we didn't have favorites back in the day. We did, you know what I mean? But the favorites that we had back in the day, most of them would have talent and charisma and can actually carry a company and sell tickets. Charlotte Flair can sell tickets on her heel persona. She can. But the thing is, the company has built her into a monster. And the thing is, she doesn't have a lot of those abilities that they're expecting from her. That's a big problem. If you did it with Hogan, Austin, Rock, any of these people, even Triple H back in the day, which a lot of people praise Triple H, but he really wasn't that great because Triple H could talk. I don't know about promos, but he could talk when he needed to talk, and he was edgy. That worked for him, and he was a good worker, good wrestler. I don't know about that. He was a good worker, and Corey has his opinion if he wants to grab the mic, and y'all have yours. But like I said, don't want to go on too long with it. I'll continue my thoughts on her some other time. You know what I mean? We're going to keep moving on. We got 10 people tuning in. I want to try to make sure I keep up with all the comments, and we appreciate y'all tuning in. I'm going to put Corey's social media information also in the description to this video for those of you that want to follow him that don't know about his Twitter and stuff like that. Show him support. He has a lot of interesting things to say, and I like to give my opinion. I'm giving him a platform, and I feel like he's giving me a platform because I get to go on there, and he doesn't restrict me. He allows me, not that he can. I mean, nobody can restrict me, but I tend to respect his page because Corey's trying to come up, and unlike some people we've seen here in the past that has been with me, I actually support my friend. So that's just that. I do have support for him, and this is in and out of kayfabe. I support the dude, and I support a lot of y'all. A lot of y'all tuning in, a lot of people who support me. I love supporting y'all. That's what I do. We need to keep the support wagon going because that's how we grow. If we continue supporting each other, liking, retweeting, sharing, hearting, wherever, whatever, that's when we elevate. But if we're just going to be lazy and we're going to scroll past shit, we don't get nowhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, you mentioned kayfabe.
Go ahead.
Let me jump back into the comments real quick. I see
Okay.
Barry's in the comment. Barry
Okay.
said, "What's up, Corey Flash? I hope you're doing good today. And what is next for you to do in JTV?" All right, I'm gonna jump back into the character real quick. What's Corey Flash got happening next in JTV? Well, if you've been watching, you see that I'm on a warpath with BKS, and my ultimate goal is I get my hands on each and every single one of them till I get my hands on Shendon again. And I'm going to get my hands on Shendon, and I'm going to get what I rightfully deserve. That's my championship. I'm going to do everything in my power to get my championship back that I never lost. I never lost my title. I walked away, and that was my decision, but I never lost my title. So I'm going to get my hands back on my championship, and BKS, your life is going to be a living hell when I get my hands on all of you.
Simple and to the point, huh? A lot of people have different thoughts, different opinions on a lot of the outcomes of what's happened between you and BKS. That's one of the questions I have. One of the topics to talk about. We might as well dive into it now since you busted it open. No pun intended. But yeah, man, it's been hellfire on JTV ever since BKS has kicked me out and attempted to take over the show. I've been doing what I can creatively to make sure that I continue to support everybody, book, run the show. You know what I mean? But BKS has been a pain for sure. BKS has been a pain. Are you ready to do absolutely everything in your power in 2K25 to finally rid JTV from BKS.
100%. And I got some stuff up my sleeve that I'm not going to reveal, but I have some stuff up my sleeve that I'm working on that I have in my back pocket that is gonna probably end up being revealed sometime in this year on JTV and 2K25 that BKS is not ready for. They're not ready for
Oh,
it at all. Yeah, I've got
surprises.
some surprises. They're not ready. They're not ready for it.
Mm. Well, I got surprises of my own, and I look forward to working with you. And looking forward to next gen, looking forward to Showdown, looking forward to a lot of things. Are you excited about Ultimate Showdown 6?
I am because right now there's no direction, no direction of what's going to happen just yet. So I'm excited to see how everything plays out leading to Ultimate Showdown 6 and ultimately with this new partnership and new everything that we have going within JTV, maybe we get some people to pop up that we're not expecting. So it's exciting. It's an exciting time in JTV right now.
I agree with that. And JTV should always be exciting. It should always be that way. Such a toxic, cancerous, and negative promotion, huh? But I mean, we do our part. We do our part, and that's really what it's all about. Looking forward to it. Excited about 25. Getting back to the office, seeing what's going on with it real soon. Get the ball rolling again. A lot of big surprises, major announcements still to come. Stuff I haven't personally revealed, and we're hearing Corey Flash got stuff up his sleeve as well. So gonna be interesting to see how everything turns out. We were talking about. Let me keep looking at the comment. Well, we got
Yeah,
one comment.
I'm looking at
We got
Shendon's comment.
well, we got
Right.
MPW comment right here. What are your thoughts? I mean, have you had an opportunity to maybe catch some MPW television? Do you think they're improving? Would you see yourself ever competing there? What are your thoughts?
I've tuned in to see what MPW is about. Ray has done a good job of elevating his product.
Yeah.
Could we ever see the All Star Kid Corey Flash in MPW? That's a conversation that could be happening, Ray. You can reach out to me and maybe we can make that work.
It's all about talking. It's all about planning. You know what I mean? You can't just wish on something. You got to make the
It's
take the
got to make
steps.
sense. It's got to make sense for
Yeah.
me. If I'm gonna show up, it's got to make sense for me creatively. So,
Yeah.
I'm always open to opportunities.
And I agree with that completely. You know what I'm saying? Me and Shendon are the same way. Even though Shendon is just a banger when it comes to leagues. I mean, you've done a little bit of that stuff. I've never really been a league guy. But the thing is that people do. You make your own way in CAW. That's just how I look at it. And I just think that there's a lot of places that just don't know what they're doing. That's I don't really trust a lot of people with my character. I've dealt with that in the past, and I just feel like you got if you're going to go into a promotion, creative's got to make sense, and it's important to have long-term planning. Me and Shen talk about that. Me and Conscience, me and you, me and No Kills. A lot of these conversations about long-term planning. Same with Ray. Long-term planning is important because when you have long-term planning, you have a outlook on where we're going, and that's always important for every character. I mean, I can't predict the future, but I tend to have ideas long term for all of you guys in JTV. What I want to do and the events and stuff like that, what match I want to have at Showdown. So that's always important because you have a goal and you have a direction where you're headed. So I like what Corey's saying because that's the best way to do business. You just don't want to walk into a promotion empty-handed with no creative ideas, no input of any kind. And Chris Conscience is another one. We have conversations that he's been in places where he's been misused and stuff like that, and then eventually gets to the point where they tell you, "Well, we don't have nothing else for you." You know what I mean? And that to me is just always ironic. You know what I mean? But the thing is, like what you said, very good point made. Let's go ahead and keep moving on here.
All right, let me see. Shendon put in the comments earlier. We didn't get to it. He said thoughts on the idea of now inducting great matches into the Hall of Fame. One of them
Yeah.
is probably the first, if I'm not mistaken, Stone Cold and Bret Hart at WrestleMania 13. Correct, Shendon. That is the first match ever going into the WWE Hall of Fame. I think it's a fantastic idea. I think it's a great match to be the first match going in. Uh,
Agree.
two incredible performers right there. Uh, one of, if not the greatest WrestleMania match of all time, right there between the two of them. Stone Cold passing out with the blood all over his face. Um, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of putting matches into the Hall of Fame. Big matches, big time matches that were a big part of wrestling history. And these two men being the first match to go in, I agree with 100%. And it's going to be good to see both of them on that stage for the Hall of Fame.
I agree with that. I mean, it really came out of nowhere. That's the reason I was such a big fan of yesterday's SmackDown. I had my thoughts. I had an issue with Drew McIntyre and Randy going on before. It was Jimmy Uso and Miz.
The
I had
Miz.
an I had an issue with that at first when I didn't know what they were doing creatively until I found out that Priest was there and he came after Drew in the parking lot, which was excellent. So I have to take back what I said, and I have to say that yesterday's show, solid 10 out of 10, excellent show. Love the matches, love
I
the
was
drama, just everything about that show was fantastic from beginning to end. That's how shows should be every single week. Those are the type of shows I want to watch. That got me so hyped, and I started watching SmackDown again because of such acts. Last week was a little so-so, but the 2 weeks before that and yesterday SmackDown, excellent in my opinion. Big fan, and I'm definitely hyped about next SmackDown now, and now more interested in what they're doing. They're doing a fantastic job with Naomi. And anytime you want to cut me off or what I'm talking about, dive right in, brother.
Naomi.
But,
Naomi is a
but,
natural. She's a natural, man, and I'm happy for her.
but see
Um,
what caution when you say that.
all the hell that she went through under the old guy, under the old man, uh,
Yeah,
which resulted in her and Mercedes walking out. She came back under this new regime, and they're treating her the way that she deserves to be treated. She's featured weekly on TV. She's working with these younger talents of the newer generation, and now look what's happening. You had her ultimately be revealed as the one that attacked Jade Cargill. Jade Cargill came back for revenge at Elimination Chamber and beat the shit out of her, resulting in her not even being able to be in that match. Then you have them going back and forth. You have Jade Cargill out here searching for her every week. Naomi doing
yeah,
these sneak attacks. And then the cherry on top, you have the Naomi video package yesterday with her promo. Absolutely incredible. I love the
excellent,
callbacks.
excellent,
Yeah,
excellent.
so good. So
Yeah,
good. I'm
excellent.
excited. It's gonna be a big 2025. I found out on New Year's Day actually that it was gonna be a big 2025 for Naomi, and it looks like it is. Looks like it is. I think we'll either see her hold women's world championship gold, or she'll win the Money in the Bank briefcase this year, and she deserves it. All the work that she's put in over the years. People don't give her flowers, but Naomi deserves her flowers. And I'm glad. I'm gonna put this out there too. I'm gonna put this out there too. Real life. Naomi and I, Trinity, we are from the same city. We are from the same city. I grew up around her family, one side of her family. I didn't really talk to her when we were younger. I was in the age group with her cousin. But yeah, we're
Yeah,
from the same city. I'm proud of her. She made it out of that city. I'm extremely proud of her. I love the work that she's doing right now, and I'm looking forward to what's next for her.
right. I love it, man. It's a real good comment from the third eye Chris Conscience right here. I think you might want to have something to say about that. But I love the idea of the next match going into the Hall of Fame is Hell in a Cell with Mankind and the Undertaker. What are your thoughts? Big fan.
I'm a big fan of that. I think that match could, and rightfully so, should be in the Hall of Fame. A lot came out of that match. A lot in wrestling history came out of that match. So I think that would be ultimately another match that they could put in. I think what they're going to end up doing is doing one match a year, just to showcase to get a match in there. So I think that may be a consideration for next year. because you have the 5 or 6 people that they're putting in the Hall of Fame, 5 or 6 tag teams and singles wrestlers that they're putting in, and you have the Memorial Award that they do, and then you have the match now. So yeah, I think that match is 100% deserving of going into the Hall of Fame when it's time.
Hey,
Third Eye,
I
I
love
love
it.
that I love that comment. Third Eye, Naomi had enough because enough is enough. Yes, shout out to Owen Hart, 100%. Shendon made a comment about why not do it in JTV2, inducting matches into the Hall of Fame. That's up to the boss man. The boss man, maybe one day he would want to do that. Maybe one
Hey,
day that would be something he'd be interested in.
I got a response for that. I got a response for that. Yeah, I like it, but if it's one thing that we try to do in JTV that a lot of e-feds and shows don't really do because they just copy and paste shit. I'm not a big fan of just copying everything. That's why we don't have a Royal Rumble. We have Battle Royales. You know what I mean? Because the Royal Rumble, a lot of people think of the Royal Rumble and they think of professional wrestling. The Royal Rumble is a WWE match, folks. Okay. Battle Royales are professional wrestling matches. The Royal Rumble is a WWE match, just like Hell in a Cell. You know what I mean? I think I've seen, correct me for those that may know, Conscience, Mark. I don't remember seeing an Iron Man match in WCW or anything like that. They may have because they ripped a lot of shit from each other too. But I think that was a WWE match and so on and so forth. So WWE doing the concept of inducting matches into the Hall of Fame is a dope concept. And you know me, Corey, I love dope concepts, innovation, stuff that hasn't been done in the infrastructure. You know what I mean? I love that. So that's why I love SmackDown. Love what we're doing for WrestleMania. Big, Hall of Fame. We need a little bit more. You know what I mean? So they decided to call the Hitman. They decided to call it Austin 316. We're doing business the right way. This is smart. We're inducting this match into the Hall of Fame. I'm sure they're going to put a bunch of matches in the Hall of Fame that should not be in there, but this is one match that deserves to be in there currently. Not a big fan of the idea of doing it for JTV because I don't want to try to copy WWE, but I love you guys, and everything that happens in JTV is not just up to me, in my opinion. I appreciate the compliment, Corey, but it isn't entirely always up to me. It's up to you guys. If you guys want JTV matches in the JTV Professional Wrestling Hall of Fame, all you got to do is voice your opinion. That's it. Let me know. You want somebody back? Let me know. That's how that shit goes. I listen. I'm not Vince McMahon. I listen to my crowd. I listen to my talent. You know, we have to work together because JTV's ours. And this is why we have so much fun in it because we make JTV, and I'm sure you agree with me, Corey, that we make it what we want it to be. That's why it's fucking fun and we enjoy it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's our product. So it's up to us to make it what we want it to be and have fun with it. If you have a thought, opinion, don't be afraid. Speak up. You could talk to Corey. You could talk to Shen. You could talk to Conscience. Talk to whoever. You could talk to me. Let me know what you think. You know what I mean? It's time to step up in 2K25. So not a big fan of the idea of JTV copying because it's from WWE. But if you want it, you got to say so. You got to let it be
Consideration.
known.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right. Let's see. I'm reading the comments. Third Eye made a comment about AJ Styles and Logan Paul being dumb as hell. If anything, it should be AJ Styles versus Cross. I personally, they've been building a little bit with Logan Paul and AJ Styles. I'm not a big fan of Logan Paul the person, but Logan Paul the wrestler. I think him and AJ Styles will have a fantastic match. AJ Styles can bring the best out of anybody. It you could see at WrestleMania when he fought Shane McMahon. They had the match of the night on that card. I was there in person. Luckily, I got to see that match. So I think AJ Styles and Logan Paul, with their similar styles, they're going to have a great match. You mentioned Karrion Cross. Karrion Cross is very interesting to me. Um, his character work goes unnoticed a lot of the time, but there's details with everything that he does. Anything that he touches, it changes. So I'm enjoying carrying Cross's work, not only on WWE TV but social media as well, because he expands his character work on his social media on Twitter. If you don't see it, go check it out. Real Killer Cross on Twitter. He does character work on there, like promos and everything, tying into television. So does Karrion Cross, should he have a match? Uh yes and no. You can't put everybody on the card, but I think AJ Styles and Logan Paul is going to be a good match. Do I personally want to really see it? No, but do I think it's going to be a good match? Yes. Do I want to see Karrion Cross on TV also? Yes. So, but like I said, it's hard to get everybody on TV. It's hard to get everybody on these cards for the PLEs. So it's going to be interesting. I forgot to answer you a little bit
Man,
ago
is
about
it really hard though when you got like 4 or 5 shows a week? Is it really that hard? And you
it's
got networks and all this shit. I mean, I don't
it's
know.
it's hard due to the
I
fact
think
because
I think it's hard. I think it's hard to write and be creative. I don't know about booking. I mean, you know,
they the way they can get them on TV, but they're not gonna put these guys on. You mentioned 4 or 5 programs. They're focused more on Raw and SmackDown. They're not gonna put these guys on NXT or Evolve. So they're not really. Evolve is for the undercard of NXT and these WWE ID guys that they have signed now to these
yeah,
contracts. NXT is now more of a third brand, which is why you see main roster people there more. But at the same time, they don't really want to put them down there. They want to focus on Raw and SmackDown, the 5.5 hours that they have for Raw and SmackDown. So they have a big roster. There's a big roster, and
massive.
it's
Yeah,
it's it's with commercials and everything, you can see it's
yeah,
hard for them to write TV
yes,
for the amount of time that they have.
yes, sir.
Does it flow? Does it flow with Netflix? 100%. I love WWE on Netflix. I feel like internationally that they don't get any commercials. I watch the international feed because I have NordVPN. I get a VPN so I can watch the international
Quick plug.
feeds. Yeah,
Love NordVPN.
shout out to NordVPN.
Yes,
I
sir.
don't get any commercials, so I get to watch what happens during the 3 minute breaks that they have on Netflix, and you get those segments that are built into something. You get those interviews with Kathy Kelly and Jackie Redmond with the talent. So it's
Excellent.
cool.
Very
I
good.
enjoy it. I see Shendon's comment is on the screen. What are the things you like about JTV wrestling more than WWE? Well, for one, JTV wrestling is a bit more edgy. JTV wrestling has no constraints really. Um, JTV, we have shows that could go for like 5.5 hours, episodically, and that's where, because it's not a weekly television show, so you fit everything you could fit into that, and people will sit there and watch.
Yes,
I
sir.
enjoy that. The
Great
talent have
analogy.
the talent in JTV. I mean, now in WWE with the new regime, the talent have more creative input. But in
Yes.
JTV, you have creative input with your character as well. The boss man does not hide the fact that he wants ideas from people so that we can elevate the product even better. He wants, what I like about JTV is he wants people to interact. He wants to grow. And if you guys are not interested in growing, then what the hell are you doing here? Why are you here? Why are you in
Agreed.
JTV? If you don't want to grow, what are you doing here? This is a video game um community. We are in a community, a wrestling community. And we're here to have fun. We're here to put on a show for people. If you want your person on the show, but you're lazy, you're uninspired, you just think you're going to get on the show, then you're in the wrong place. You are in the wrong place. You need to do what you need. He doesn't ask for much. So if you can't even hit a like button, you can't share the shows. Like right now, we got the City of Impact episode 9. If you haven't shared it, go and share it. Like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Come on, but yeah, back to things I like about JTV more than WWE. Like I said, it's like a family. Um, JTV, I like the edgy stuff in JTV. I've always told Jay this. I want more edgy TV, and he started adding a little more edgy TV after I gave him the suggestion. So I and like I said, he's open to input on everything. So that's something that I really do enjoy about JTV wrestling, is that it's more edgy. You get more edgy content, but it's within the constraints of what's next, what's coming next, because anything can happen. Anything can happen in regular professional wrestling and in JTV wrestling. But when it comes to JTV, you're getting, with the editing and the production that gets done on the episodes of these shows, you are getting an experience, that's for sure. All right.
Thanks for the plug, and I agree with everything you said.
WWE versus JTV wrestling, characters wise, who be cool to who versus who to go against each other, 1v1, 2v2, etc. All time wrestlers.
Man,
Well, I'm gonna put,
fantasy booking. Consider
I'm,
this NFL fantasy booking right here.
I'll fantasy book myself right now.
All right.
I'm I'll go 1-on-1 with the undisputed WWE champion Cody Rhodes. Corey Flash versus Cody
Ooh.
Rhodes.
Ooh.
Shendon versus Roman Reigns.
Mmm.
Um,
Those are good pairs.
Amber Rocks versus AJ Lee.
Nice.
Um,
A good one with Amber Rocks would also be Roxanne. I think
100%.
that works.
That
Yeah,
would
yeah,
be a
yeah,
good
yeah.
match. Um, let's see, Third Eye versus Booker T.
Ooh. I would have
Um,
said Great Muda.
I would like to see that. Mark Bannon versus Owen Hart.
Okay.
I'd like to see that.
Yeah, that would have been good match.
What else? Let's see. Who else would I want to see? I'm trying to think all time. Um, you give Lowrider versus Rob Van Dam.
Extreme.
Yep.
Yeah.
I see. Motor City Machine Guns versus the Seals.
Mm. Fantasy booking. JTV WWE.
So much. There's a lot.
It's a lot
Who
of people.
else? Yeah, I'm trying to think, because those are definitely some interesting matches. Mark, you versus Chris Benoit. I don't know about that, brother. That doesn't work for me.
Mark, you
um,
know we can't say Chris Benoit on here. What's wrong with you? Quit saying Chris Benoit, God damn it. We can't
uh,
curse on here or say Chris Benoit. Don't do it.
um, Kevin Impact versus Bret Hart.
I like that. Good match.
Yeah, those are some that I would fantasy book if I could, all time and current.
Well, don't bust that nut just yet. But I talked to No Kills again yesterday. We talked about a lot, and I reminded him, and I'm reminding you and everyone tuning in that real soon when I get back to the office, we're going to start releasing the JTV lost tapes from the past, which y'all are going to enjoy because you get to see the Newsom Club and everybody in their prime. And shocker, I did get to wrestle Bret the Hitman Hart. And I have at least 2 matches of those to release to the public in the future. So get ready for that. If you want to see the Hitman and the box office hit, go at it, smash the like button, and get ready. Top that. All right. If y'all got any more questions, keep tossing them. We got Adam Connor tuning in. Smash the like button. Show some love to yourselves. You know what I'm saying? Make your voice be heard. You know what I mean? If this video sucks and it's all about you, let me know. Put it in the comments, man. If this podcast sucks, put your name out there. Say, oh, I'm better than Kevin Impact and Corey Flash. I want to hear your voice. That's what this is about. In this promotion, you're not censored. You're not told you can't do this, you can't do that. This is about passion, love, and professional wrestling. So let's tell a story. Speaking of stories, let's keep this thing going. What do we got here? Shannon says JTV Wrestling versus WWE 3D animation story episodes would be cool. Yeah, that'd be cool. I like that. I like that. I like the idea of that.
We could do that. Just more content for the channel. 100%.
Well, I want to say something right now just to get Shendon's, the hair on his arm to stand up, and yours and everybody tuning in. But I'm gonna say this quietly and let's try to keep this to ourselves. But there might be a possibility that I think we're getting Hey, Stanley, last comment part two.
Uh
See you soon. Wink, wink. Uh, but yeah, so it's all about fun. We look at that. We just got two more viewers after that announcement. It's a shocker. All right.
All right,
So
here's another comment from Shendon. How did you reach out to J Kid and JTV Wrestling? All right, let's talk about this. We've touched on this a few times over the years, but basically JTV was uploading their episodes, and I was going through and I was playing the episodes, and I
you was
reached
on
out.
SVR 2010, I believe, at that time when you was
It was
gaming
on
on
09.
your
I was
PS2.
on 09. It was
Oh
09.
nine?
Yeah.
Get out of here.
It was on SVR09. I was on there. Um, I was on there. It was summer during summertime, and I was trying to find stuff to do. Is of course I was going into high school. There's nothing going on. It's summertime. What else? What else am I gonna do
Well,
but
in the
chill?
year, in
And
2009, the year, but we was on SVR 2010 though, because I wasn't doing shows publicly on '09 yet. We was on
yeah,
Xbox. Me and
yeah,
Kills was on Xbox at the time with King Leo. So 2010, you found me, but it was in the year of '09. It was early on that you caught me in the
yeah.
summertime, I guess.
Yeah, I was watching the shows. I reached out to you. You noticed it. You peeped it. So we started talking, and that the friendship grew, and then ultimately we came to bringing Corey Flash and Sean Storm into the picture. A VIP came into the picture too, and we did our whole little NXT type of deal, and the rest is history. Rest is history. I've been around for 15 years
And
now,
And you
and
know what's crazy about that is that NXT that we did in like 2010, 2011 was the hotbed, the beginning of next gen.
yeah,
It was the
100%.
beginning of next gen.
Yeah, that's like when WWE did the same thing. They did the reality NXT, and which
Yeah.
ultimately turned into what it is today. So yeah, it's crazy how history works. But yeah, I've been with the company now for 15 years, and it's crazy to think about.
Isn't
That's
that
half my
crazy?
life. That's half my
That's
life.
insane.
Half of my life I've been in JTV.
That's insane.
All right, let's see. Adam Connor said, "Would Corey Flash like to have a match with anyone in their prime from past? Who would it be from
Ooh.
either
L-
promotions in the '90s?"
Love
All
that
right,
question.
you want a real answer? The answer is the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. Corey Flash would have
Mm.
loved to be in the ring with the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, in his prime. Malcolm would love to have a match with or Corey Flash or different people in JTV and MPW too. I'm pretty sure Malcolm Berry could have a match
I
someday
see you in hell.
if he gets his shit together. Maybe one day he could step in the ring with somebody like me. What do you think about JTV versus AAA? That's interesting. I
That
think
man said,
maybe
ah,
maybe we could maybe
yeah.
maybe we could sprinkle in some of their talent on our show sometime. Maybe it'd be cool. We
Never know, man. We working on
could
some deals. You never
we
know.
could
Shender's working on something.
yeah. There is one person that will never ever step foot in JTV wrestling, no, and that is that piece of shit Alberto. Fuck that guy.
You could say that again.
We he never come here to JTV wrestling, but the other talent from that promotion would be welcome. Let's see if you could change anything in JTV. If so, what would it be? Um, if I could change anything in JTV, let me think. I would want BKS the fuck out of here. That's what I would change. Get
Oh
them, get,
man.
get them the fuck out of here.
Mm-mm.
They don't belong in my ring. Get them out of here. They don't belong. They
Mm.
don't belong in my promotion. You think
Mm.
you got it all figured out? You got another thing coming for you. JTV versus New Japan Pro Wrestling. I could see those guys popping up again. They pop up sporadically in JTV sometimes, so I could see them
Japan
popping up.
tour, baby. Wink, wink. Japan
All right,
tour.
let's see. Out of
Let's
character
go all out.
thoughts on Shendon. You were a fan of him back on Next Gen, and you've been seeing him ever since his debut. Thoughts of the character development from TLK, Tico, and the Majesty. Um, I do like Shendon. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of Shendon. I think Shendon has come a long way from not only his character growth, but his work on the microphone as well. I do like Shendon. I think that Shendon was the right guy to take over the throne. I think that that time ultimately has come, though. I think that it's time for somebody new to step in and take that spot from you, whether that be the All Star kid, whether that be Mark Bannon, whether that be somebody. I think it's time for some new blood to step up and take that throne from him. But yeah, I've enjoyed the work of Shendon. I'm not gonna lie, I've been a fan of his for quite some time, as he said. I think that's the whole thing. If there's one thing I could change about him, um, I bring back the king. There's only one king. Bring him back. Bring him back. Bring back that guy, and not this piece of shit that's in BKS right now. BKS versus NWO. NWO would wipe the floor with BKS. Sorry, too sweet. Would Corey Flash
Oh,
create a memorable moment in JTV in 25? What will it be if he didn't create the moment, or would love to have to create it? I got stuff up my
yo,
sleeve.
hold on. Before you answer that, yo, I love these questions, man. Keep them coming. Y'all entertaining the shit out of me. Go ahead, Corey.
Um, I'm not gonna reveal what I have. There's moments coming that I'm gonna work on creatively. That in 2025 for 2K25, it's gonna be fun. Just stay tuned. There's a lot coming that I haven't even revealed to myself yet that I gotta find. But yeah, it's gonna be fun. 2K25. Um, I think you should stay tuned to see what's next for the All Star Kid and memorable moments. Let's see. What's your thoughts on Mark Bannon as a character? Mark Bannon as a character has grown tremendously, tremendously from that guy that I first met to now. Um, Mark Bannon and Corey Flash have had two fantastic matches against each other. The series is tied 1-1. Mark Bannon, Corey Flash, part three could be coming sometime soon. Wu Tang Clan versus BKS. You're funny, Third Eye. You are hilarious.
I
What
mean, is he funny though? Because not for nothing, that stare down they had at the Snow Showdown ECW rules. I'm still thinking about it, Corey. I'm still thinking about it. Wu Tang Clan and BKS would be excellent TV, but it had to be a fight. It wouldn't be a wrestling match. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It would be a fight, absolute street fight. It'd be like Def Jam. Wink, wink, Shendon. Go ahead, Corey.
Let's
Show's
see.
yours.
Shendon, what's your top five moments you had in JTV wrestling so far?
That's a
It's
good question.
it's
That's a
it's
very good
hard to
question.
it's hard to pick five moments. Number one would ultimately be me beating VIP and Kevin Impact for the World Championship. Obviously,
Oof,
would be the top moment
oof,
for me. Um,
oof. That was excellent.
that'd
That
be
was
that'd
dope.
be that'd be a top moment for me. Um, Getting to be in a storyline with Kevin Impact and also being by his side before that's something special to me. Um, Facing Shendon, having great matches with Shendon, despite me coming out on the losing end. I had a good time wrestling Shendon for the championship. I mentioned it earlier. Mark Bannon and Corey Flash matches, fantastic. They've sat in my mind for quite a
I
while.
agree.
And
Excellent
then
work. I agree.
my I guess my fifth. They aren't in order except for the top one. I guess for my fifth and final, I'd have to say, uh, back in JTV WWE working with the Nexus, Corey Flash and the
Mm,
Nexus was
good
was
time.
great. I had a
Y'all,
great time
y'all see
doing
some
the
of that
Nexus.
soon on the old tapes. Y'all see some of that.
Shendon asked the top five matches I had. I pretty much just touched on them with those top five moments. So we'll
Yeah.
we'll go over that one.
Well,
Which
let
fact?
me tell you something because you going fast as shit. Slow down. Uh, just for a moment, I just want to say that I feel like this is underrated as shit. But tag teaming with you as Ryu and Ken, very dope. Thank you for that.
That's what I was talking
That
about.
that was
Great.
dope. That
I
was
had I
dope.
had great fun.
Thank you for that. That was dope.
Let's see.
Dios
Uh,
te bendiga, hermano.
let's
God
see.
bless you, bro.
OG Bullet Club versus the Elite. That'd be something cool to see. Um, I just don't know how they would pull it off because some of them were in the OG Bullet Club. So I don't know how they would really be
They
able
could
to.
go back and forth. It'd be complete civil war. It'd be interesting
True.
television.
True.
Can you imagine them trying to take over SmackDown and Raw and NXT and like it'd be fun TV, man. It'd be big ratings. I'd be a big fan. Triple H would be like tied up and shit, and he'll have like a ball gag in his mouth and shit. And they'd be painting Bullet Club all over the logos and shit like that and tearing the set apart. That'd be dope, man. Imagine they was sitting in the crowd watching the show. That'd be dope, man.
And they took
That'd be
over.
edgy.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I love
Let's
it. I
see.
love it.
Shendon said Wu Tang won't stand a chance when talking about Wu Tang versus BKS. Def Jam. There's rumors that a new Def Jam game is coming out.
I've heard
So
them.
maybe if the game does actually come to fruition, maybe we could make it into something
I
potentially.
mean, we could incorporate it into Retro Slam. Why not?
Yeah.
You know,
Uh,
that'd be cool.
Adam Connor, which faction was better, the Four Horsemen, NWO, Black and White, NWO Wolfpack, DX, or Bullet Club? All right, so people believe that the Four Horsemen laid the foundation for everybody else, which is true. I don't think the Four Horsemen are the greatest of all time. Do not. Black and White was cool, but I roll with the Wolfpack. I roll with the red and black.
Yeah.
Uh, let's see.
So you like the
DX
Wolfpack?
DX was cool. DX, all
Yeah,
the different variations of DX were cool. I
I
I
agree.
love I love DX from addition and subtraction. DX
Mm,
great. Bullet Club has had a few variations and a few leaders
yeah.
going back a decade. So and it's still going. There's two variations of it still right now in New Japan. It's a I don't think the Bullet Club is ever going to end if we're being honest, because they're just going to keep adding, having people turn and become the new leaders. But it's elevating talent, so I like that about Bullet Club. But to answer the question, which faction was better, I have to go with the NWO Wolfpack. The Wolfpack is my favorite
Holy
out of the
shit.
ones that you listed. The Wolfpack is my favorite, and
The wolf.
the theme song is Carry On Tap.
You think the Wolfpack could put a beating on the Horseman?
Absolutely,
I don't know, man.
absolutely.
Tully Blanchard, man, Arn Anderson. I don't know.
There's some
Wolfpack was
legends there,
small.
but
Wolfpack was small compared to the original OG NWO Black and White.
yeah,
2000s NWO Black and White was and I mean, but the NWO as a whole, I don't know. You had Scott Norton in there, a couple people in there pretty dangerous. But
yeah,
it's your opinion, it's your thoughts. This is what Corey Flash has to say. Go ahead, the
yeah.
show's yours.
I see going down. Shendon's commenting still. Said going way back, love it. Yep. The Corey Flash character goes back 15 years in JTV, so I touch on all of it. We've
Yeah,
we've done it multiple times, so I really don't like to talk about the history of Corey Flash
it's
when
your
it comes to
anniversary,
like
brother.
this. Yeah, so I really don't like to go back that much because we've talked about it so much over the years, and there's some more stuff coming up that you guys got to stay tuned for. But the that's why we're really not touching on Corey Flash as much right now. So, but yeah, stay tuned. Stay tuned. That's all I'm gonna say. Kevin Impact and Corey Flash is a team, the Global All Stars. If I could get that man out of retirement, I would do it in an instant. I would do it in an instant, and we would shut BKS down for good. Just saying. Uh, Remaster Fight for New York and make it online on PS5. That'd be fun. That would be
Big fan.
fun. I
Yes,
I
sir.
would enjoy that. I definitely enjoyed that game as a kid. I would love it. Let's
Hey,
see.
I got a question. Uh, what would be your favorite PS2 game? That's the greatest console of all time. Would you agree with that? And what is your favorite PS2 game?
Mm, um, damn, on the spot. On the
Something to
spot.
think about.
Yeah, I'll have to come back to that one. I got to think on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, in terms of greatest console of all time, Definitely. I love the PS2. The PS2 was I didn't really play with the PS1. I did play it. That was my first console, but
You got
I
to play a PS1.
yeah, I
That's
played
dope.
the gray PS1. Yeah, with the two circle buttons, push them on the system. Yeah, going way back. Yeah,
Yeah.
the power
Let me
button
throw a
and
wild
the
one at
eject.
you. Let me throw a wild one at you because I've gotten pictures from you back then, but you played a little arcade. You did.
Yeah,
You played some arcade. What did you play that you really liked when you went to the arcades?
Pac-Man.
Oh man,
Pac-Man.
classic,
I love Pac-Man. Uh,
classic. I play a little
Miss
bit of Pac-Man in the arcade back then. What else you got?
Miss Pac-Man was
Oh, Miss
actually how
Pac-Man.
my no, that's actually how my parents met. Miss Pac-Man was how they
That
met.
is dope,
Yeah,
man.
they met playing Miss Pac-Man in I guess like a club setting, like a lounge back in the
And who
80s.
was who was gaming? Mom, dad.
My mom, my mom
God
was
bless her.
yeah.
That's
So
dope.
shout out to my mom. But yeah,
Shout out.
Pac-Man, the original Pac-Man is always. Anytime I go to an arcade, I like to go and play Pac-Man over there.
Yeah,
I like to play the race car games. Sit down in the car and drive.
yeah. Perfect.
Uh, I like to
Perfect.
play
Yeah.
Crazy Taxi. Crazy
Crazy Taxi.
Taxi.
Classic
Uh,
game. Yeah.
play 18 wheeler. 18 wheeler.
Oh, I remember 18 Wheeler.
Yeah, play 18 wheeler. What else? Jurassic Park. Pull the guns up and start shooting the dinosaurs. Play Jurassic Park. Uh,
I like Terminator. I
yeah,
played Terminator at the
I
arcade
played
some years
Terminator.
back.
I played
Yeah.
Terminator in there. Yeah, there's the arcades, the ones that are still around.
Yeah.
You have these variations. Obviously, you have the
Yeah.
Dave and Buster's
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Chill out, brother.
They're
Chill out
trying to
now.
keep
Chill out
them
now.
around.
Yeah.
So
No, it's perfect, man. It's perfect because that's how it started.
yeah.
You know, because before I had consoles, I used to go with my boy to arcade. That's how we used to game. Street Fighter 2 and Mortal Kombat 2 and all that shit. You said the 18 wheeler with the steering wheel. Like
Yep.
that, all that shit was dope, man. You
Yeah,
know, this is your
I had a
show. This
blast.
is your show, but I'm just saying it's dope. It was dope.
Yeah, I had a blast in the arcades as a kid, and I still do when I go from time to time. I still get to go in there. Consoles obviously are the move now, and PCs, consoles and PCs. But
Yeah.
it's always good to still go in there and feel like a kid and get that nostalgic feel. I'm always going to be a kid at heart, so I still
Same
enjoy
here.
I still enjoy going in. Doesn't matter how old I'm going to get. I'm still going to enjoy going in the arcades and playing as long as they're around. As long
And
as
as
they're
long as
around.
we can physically play them, yes.
Yep.
I
All
mean,
right.
let's mention that real quick for a moment. I mean, can you imagine yourself an old man and the struggle of like, man, I can't play anymore. I'm too old now. Can you imagine having to accept that and the difficulty that comes with it? Because for me, it's just like I'm thinking about it. You know what I mean? Like every year, like enjoy it while you still can. You know, because some people just can't do it no more. You know?
Yep. Yep. Let's see. That was a great conversation right there. I enjoyed talking about the old school and the arcades. Let's see. Favorite pro wrestling theme of all time. Damn, Adam Connor, that's tough. There's a lot of great professional wrestling themes. His theme song is up there, but it's not my favorite of all time. Um,
Well, while you thinking, what do you think about his heel turn thus far and the program with him and
I'm
Cody?
I'm a fan because they're revealing layers little by little. You don't want to put it all into one promo. You don't want everything to come out in one promo. So right now, what he's doing is belittling the fans for pretty much being against him for his entire career. That's what he's doing at the moment. What they're gonna do this week, I believe, in London on Raw, is they're gonna have him finally mention why he did what he did at Elimination Chamber towards Cody Rhodes and aligning with The Rock. I think they're finally going to jump into that. He's finally going to address Cody because he hasn't addressed Cody at all since he's been on the mic the last 2 weeks. It's been about the fans, and then when Cody comes in, he just stares at him with a blank stare in the ring. So I think this week they're gonna reveal the next layer of what's going on with Cena. This is his on Raw will be his final advertised appearance before WrestleMania. But I'll be honest, I think they're gonna do like last year where Rock showed up unannounced. They're gonna have Cena show up unannounced and beat the shit out of Cody Rhodes one show.
Yeah.
They're gonna have him show up and beat his ass. So I think so far, from my perspective as a fan, I've enjoyed it. I understand why some people aren't really getting into it yet because they haven't really gone at each other. They haven't had a promo battle yet towards each other. It's been
Yeah.
John Cena talks and then Cody Rhodes comes out and shuts him up. They haven't gotten physical with each other yet, so I understand that. But as we get closer to Mania, we're 3 weeks out now. I think more is going to happen, and I'm excited to see what happens. Um, then after Mania, we have uh, Backlash. Backlash is going to be in St. Louis. John Cena's advertised to wrestle there, so he's gonna be there. And then Saturday night's main
Well,
event
hold on. So he's retiring at the next WrestleMania.
at the end of the year, end of 2025.
Hmm.
At the end of 2025 in December. So he's got the whole year to do this. I think he's gonna do heel work probably until September, and then he's gonna go back to babyface Cena to close his career out.
Yeah,
But
at the end.
I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed it so far. I don't have a problem with what they've done. I think the heel turn was fantastic. Nobody was expecting it, so I think they did a good job with that. I'm just looking forward to seeing how they build on this story in the next 3 weeks before Mania comes. And like I was saying, we have 4 shows coming over here. We got 4 shows after Backlash coming Memorial Day weekend to my city. We got Saturday night's main event, so I get to see the nostalgic stuff. Get to see Jesse Ventura, Lillian Garcia, John Cena. So that's gonna be fun for me. We have NXT WWE Battleground, which is another PLE that they're having. Then we got Raw and then weekly NXT. So I'm gonna have 4 shows here. I'm gonna go to all 4 of them. I'm gonna have fun. Have fun. It's gonna be good to see Cena again. I'm looking forward to it.
You want to know what I think, or do we just let you answer that question of your favorite theme?
You can talk about it first, and then I'll answer the question.
Well, let's do this. I'm gonna talk about it, and that'll give you time to think of what your favorite theme is. Let's do that. So you go thinking of your favorite theme, and this is what I think about the Cena and Cody thing. In my own opinion, I don't think it's been great. I think it's been very bland. I think they should have been started doing more. Not seeing any Rock or Travis Scott via satellite or anything takes away from the story. The Cena heel turn was being compared to the stuff that happened with Hulk Hogan and the NWO back in the day. And at first it was, but what they've been doing with it, it doesn't compare, not even in the least, because all this really seems like it's just a tease of Cena being heel, and then it's just going to be just mediocre week to week, and then he's just going to turn face in a couple months. So to me, that doesn't really get the credit of what Hogan did when he turned heel and went with the NWO, because when he did that, he set the world on fire, and we actually went somewhere with it. With the NWO progressing, whether it went to hell or whether it benefits certain people. And I think it benefit people because anybody that was NWO stood relevant on television for a bit, including Scott Northern and Virgil, who was going by Vincent when I was watching Saturday Night's WCW, and so on and so forth. Brian Clark, Raph, all those guys. So to me, I feel like the Cena heel turn has been mediocre. And for it to really work and mean something, we need a little bit more. If you really want to get edgy and unpredictable with it, and this is not for PG fans. So if you're listening, PG fans, cover your eyes because I don't want you to hear this. But you had, if I was writing it, I would have had Cena kidnap his dog. I would have had Cena maybe hurt Brandy, his wife, or go after his daughter. I would have been edgy and very dark with it, because Cena is talking about trauma. Cena is talking about being abused by people, by fans who use it for many, many years. And when you come with a storyline like that, you have to really bring fire. And they haven't really brought fire. All they've been doing is just teasing you. It's like meeting a girl and It's the first time you're going to make love to her, but instead of you actually doing it, nothing happens. She's just taking her shirt off and shit like that. Her pants. She's teasing you just a little bit, not a lot. I mean, and like nothing's actually happening. That's how I feel the storyline has progressed with Cena and Cody Rhodes. And if we have 3 weeks, I need something. I told you yesterday that the Naomi thing, I really wasn't too behind it. You was marking out with a bunch of people saying you love it, it's fantastic. I haven't seen enough. All I needed was that promo with Naomi acting like she was Charles Lee Ray. That's Chucky for those of you that don't know. And just a little bit of the dark side. Not necessarily Chucky, but just psychopath. Love it. Big fan. And then she got the caution tape logos all over her. That's excellent creative in my book. That's the type of stuff I like to see. I like detail and I like to know character information. So to me, that's excellent. They did a fantastic job with that. So I just from Cena, I just need him to do crazy shit because if it's just going to be promos in and out, and then Rock shows up unannounced and attacks him or Travis Scott. Personally, I don't think anybody cares about Travis Scott being the third wheel in this, but The Rock. I did tell you, to be fair, that all it was going to be was just him. He was going to manage Cena, and it was just going to be week to week, and that Rock was not going to be there. Cena's been there. He's been advertised. He's been showing up. But Rock, we haven't seen Rock ever since. So to me, it's just like that shit is trash. In my own opinion, I need more. The Rock needs to try to show up next week. We need to do something. We need to do something with Cody, to Cody's family. We need to do something interesting, even if it's via satellite. I need something interesting to happen besides the typical week-to-week promo, chatty. There's too much talking going on. And if we're going to keep talking to the very end, that's not really a storyline. That's just advertising and hyping in week to week, in my own opinion. Corey said what he said. I said what I said. Now, do you have an answer for the fans? What is your favorite soundtrack?
I have two
Okay.
answers. One A
Okay.
and one B. I'm gonna have to go with Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yes, sir.
The Bottle Breaking and The Undertaker. Two
Oh,
iconic
nice.
theme songs that I love, and they will get a pop out of the crowd every single time.
Yeah. Okay, he got another question if you want to take that one.
Favorite wrestling game of all time from Super Nintendo or current? I don't know about Super Nintendo, and it's not not a current game either. Let's see. Let me think for a second.
Favorite game? What's that one game that you could just play anytime? Could it be an NFL game? Could it be Call of Duty?
No, it's a wrestling game. It's from back in the day. If I had to pick one, it is on Nintendo. It's not on Super Nintendo, but it is a Nintendo game. I
No
gotta
way.
gotta go with Day of Reckoning. I gotta go with Day of Reckoning. Day of Reckoning
Oh,
was
man.
my favorite wrestling game.
Man,
I
Day of
lo-
Reckoning was on GameCube, player.
yeah,
I
that's
mean,
a Nintendo.
Nintendo company, but I mean, but they call it the GameCube. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a Nintendo still.
So you
That's a
like Day of
Nintendo.
Reckoning 1. Out of all games, Day of Reckoning 1 is the winner.
That's the one that got me hooked as a kid. Yeah.
Wow. And I love GameCube and I love all those games. Good memories, man.
I need to
I
get
remember,
myself a GameCube. I remember when
same here.
they evolved from the purple one, and they started making all the different colors for it. Yeah, it was what a time back in the day. What a time
I
back in
remember
the day.
having I remember having an all black Batmobile GameCube and No Kills broke my shit. Fuck him. But good times, what I mean? Very good times. What else we got?
Shandon
Your
said your
favorite?
favorite top 5 rivals in JTV wrestling as a fan. Are you talking about rivalries as a fan?
You're gonna have to specify that, player. We'll come back to you.
Yeah, I think you're talking about rivalries. If you're talking about rivalries, I'll give them to you if you specify.
Yeah. Good one from Mark. You ever play Turok? I played Turok on Xbox 360. Thought it was a good game.
I played it. It's decent. I wasn't not the biggest
Yeah,
fan, but I played it.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was cool. What about Twisted Metal? I know
Twisted
you've
Metal,
seen
fantastic.
the show
Uh,
with
yeah,
Clarence.
yeah. The
Good show,
show's coming out again. I've enjoyed it. So the game was fun too.
right?
Time Splitters. Time Splitters was a good game too.
That's a
I had
classic. PS1 for me.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Shendon asked old school cartoons growing up. So favorite old school cartoons growing up. Tom and
I
Jerry.
mean,
Tom and Jerry's one
mm,
of them.
mm,
What else? What else did we had? We had Dexter's Laboratory. Dexter's
mm.
Laboratory is on there. Courage the Cowardly Dog. Fairly Odd Parents. SpongeBob. Dragon Tales. What else? There's
Oh, we
so
know you
many, man.
definitely watch Dragon Tales. We
I
know
watched,
that.
I watched everything as a kid.
How was the intro to Dragon Tales? How'd that
Uh,
went? Dragon Tales, Dragon Tales.
I just saw a
Let's
video
all go to Dragon
on
Tales.
TikTok of all the nostalgic cartoons, and
Yeah,
it brought me back, man. Going back to the old days. Nowadays, everything sucks. So I miss. I wish the kids nowadays had the experience of what we got to experience as kids.
no creativity. That's what's missing, and it's not just in cartoons. It's in wrestling. It's in hip hop music. It's
Yeah, everything.
movies.
It's dying.
Yeah,
Everything's
yeah.
dying.
I
It's all
don't want to say it's dying. I don't want to say that, but I want to say that at this current time, we don't have enough creativity. You know what I mean? Because we can't say it's dying because you have expectation of the future. So you can't say it's dying. Anything could change at any time. Proof of that is Triple H and his creative. I didn't like a lot what they were doing, and then they come with the Naomi thing. Or they do something interesting. So there's possibilities. It's not dying. It's just that they just don't have people really doing creative stuff, putting thought into it. Instead of coming up with an interesting character, they'll just give you like a circle with two eyeballs and say, boop, 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 and that's a cartoon and that's it. And it's just like, come on, you could do better than that. You know what I mean? So I do wish people had more interesting things. There was a lot of compelling cartoons. You mentioned Courage the Cowardly Dog. I want to mention Samurai Jack. You know what I mean? Was a excellent show. Boondocks was an excellent show, more for like the teenagers that were like type of, it was into edgy shit, not corny PG shit, kiddie shit, you know what I mean? Um it's been a lot, man. It's been a lot, but we're talking about Corey's favorites, and for that man to go on record and say he liked Dragon Tales, I got a lot of respect for the All Star kid to come on here to admit he liked Dragon Tales, because I can't tell you that was one of my favorites, but this ain't my episode.
Oh yeah, I was watching PBS a lot, so Dragon Tales was on there.
I watched PBS a lot too, but it wasn't Dragon Tales. It was Arthur. You know,
Arthur was on there too. Yeah, I watch
you know what
Arthur
I
all
mean?
the time. I watched
Yeah.
every show that was like from 7 in the morning to like 12 o'clock. They had all the different shows on there. Arthur, Dragon Tales, Zabumafu. So I watched all of that stuff on there.
What about Popeye?
I like Popeye. Popeye was the reason that I grew up eating spinach.
Do you think Popeye is underrated in the current world?
100%, 100%.
Okay.
But
You ever
Popeye,
seen?
Popeye would offend people in this day and age. So it's
How
uh,
so? Because
uh,
because of the tumor or whatever? What do you think? Or just beating on Alice or what? Olive
just
oil.
the whole the what's it called the way the show was like the character presentation, I guess you could say. It wouldn't fit in this day and age because too much of cancel culture here.
Yeah, I mean, look at what happened. What was it? Uh, wasn't Speedy Gonzalez? It was from Space Jam. What was his name? I forgot. Y'all fill me in. Pepe Le
Which,
Pew. Pepe Le
yeah,
Pew got canceled, bro. I thought it was one of the most pussiest, childish things I've ever seen. I'm like, so y'all,
they
y'all,
tried to cancel Speedy Gonzalez too. They tried
they
to say
did.
it was yeah, they tried to say it was offensive.
I mean, it's kind of racist, but I mean, it was cool. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And
yeah.
I don't, as a Spanish dude, I don't take any
Yeah,
resentment.
if we're talking about, I'm gonna talk about it real quick. El Grande
Yeah,
Americano. El Grande
yeah.
Americano. A lot of people had an issue with the El Grande Americano character this week on Monday Night Raw. People,
Really?
yeah,
I
people
heard
said that
something about that.
it was offensive because they mentioned the Gulf of America instead of the Gulf of
Yeah,
Mexico. Uh,
yeah, yeah.
you had people of the Mexican culture being offended by it because we have tension. We have tension within the
Of
countries
course,
right
the
now.
border and everything going on.
You
Absolutely.
have tension. You have tension, and it didn't sit right with this global company here. Pretty much making fun of what's going on in the real world with the culture and the racism that comes from uh, the White House on down. So there was a lot that was talked about with that character. I don't necessarily have a problem with the character itself. I feel like the character is a funny thing. Uh, the I understand the Gulf of America thing though, because I'm never gonna call it that shit. Fuck that.
Yeah,
That's not what it was. And you can't
I
legally
get
change
it.
the name. You can't legally change the name without getting it approved by everybody
I
else
get
in
it.
the region. So
I get it. Yeah,
then they aired a package about all these great luchadors and stuff, and
yeah. Mixed it.
they mixed, yeah. So it was
Yeah,
a whole
it
thing.
was great. I love it.
Uh,
Big
I
fan.
I was a fan. I just don't like the whole, the which is what a lot of the Mexican heritage have a problem with, is the fact that they mentioned the Gulf of America when we
Yeah,
have all these real world tensions going on right now, and that's the big thing that they got pissed off about. And I understand, but at the same
yeah,
time, it's what it is. That you can't change anything. They're gonna do what they're gonna do with that character. Ultimately, because we haven't really talked about the shows like that.
yeah.
You had Dragon Lee facing El Grande Americano. El
Yeah.
Grande Americano ripped off Dragon Lee's mask, which is sacred in the
That's crazy.
Lucha
Yeah, that was
Libre
crazy
community.
TV.
He ripped
Yeah,
off he ripped off the mask and then beat him. He made him tap out while
yeah,
he's covering his face with his hand. Made him tap out to the ankle lock. So they're I think they're gonna end up doing something, potentially a mask match where El Grande Americano gets revealed to be Chad Gable. I think I think
but I
that's
mean,
what's gonna
we know who's under that mask. I mean, this is
happen.
Kevin Impact show, but I think we know who's under that mask. We're grown adults here, folks. We're not little kids PG. We know Chad Gable obviously is the character, but I think that we need to, and this is a Spanish guy talking to you for whoever tunes in. If anybody's ever offended by what I say, I just want you to know that I don't apologize and I meant every fucking word. But I just, I'm just telling you, man. Listen, if anybody's Spanish is offended by that bullshit, by that excellent fucking segment, stop watching WWE or go crawl under a rock or some shit like fucking what was it? Fucking Patrick and shit that go under a rock. Could
Yeah.
just shut up. You want to watch WWE, you got to be a grown adult about this. We're telling storylines, we're building characters. You guys demand compelling, edgy, controversial shit, and then when you get it, you cry. Just stop, for real, for real. And I'm speaking to the Spanish folks, that took offense to it. Look, I thought about it too. Don't get me wrong, Corey. I saw the plot. I saw how they were showing Mil Mascaras and everybody. Big fan. They were showing a lot of the greats. They were showing a lot of good shit that I was hyped. I'm like, what is this? Because I'm interested. Fast forward, we go to the imaginary Gulf of America, or whatever they call it, Gulf Americano, or whatever, and you're introducing this character, and you're showing it like they shot it like it was in the frame of the old footage, like old clips. Big fan, man. Big fan. I want more of that from the WWE. Excellent work. Big thumbs up from Kevin Impact. They just got to keep the good work going. Keep offending people, because if we keep offending people, we bring change. We need to keep talking about the things people don't want to hear. And we need to stop being so goddamn sensitive. It is a storyline. Okay. Y'all be taking shit way too serious. It's not a bullet. Don't let it kill you. All
Mhm.
right. Period, bro. All right. And maybe Corey couldn't say that because he's Americano, so to speak. But I'm Americano too, and I'm Spanish by design. And I'm letting you know Deja de ser pendejo, ¿oíste? No sean puta, ni pendejos, ni cabrones, ni mamabichos, ni nada de eso. Ustedes tienen que calmarse y estar tranquilo porque ustedes ya too soft with the shit. Everybody's too soft. Ustedes están mamando bicho todo el día, tú sabes, cabrón. But anyways, let's keep the show going.
All right.
I
Adam
think Connor
Connor
has a
said,
question for you.
"What heel turn do you
Yeah.
remember growing up that stuck out to other than NWO, John Cena, The Rock? Who had the best heel turn in your opinion?" Let's go back to the Attitude Era. Let's go back to Stone Cold Steve Austin aligning with with Vince McMahon. Let's go back then.
That man dying.
That was the one right there. Stone Cold Steve Austin.
You think Austin had the best heel turn?
Absolutely,
It was
because
shocking.
you weren't expecting it.
I saw it
Austin
live.
turning, Austin turning with The Rock ultimately being the guy, and Austin turning his back. Yeah, that was
That was
100.
the first. It was the first WrestleMania I watched on pay-per-view ever. WrestleMania 17 with Austin turning, and when it happened, I wanted him to win, but I was confused. I was young, and I'm like, I don't know what's happening. Like I wanted Austin to win, but now he's attacking The Rock and he's shaking Vince McMahon's hand. I don't know what's happening because I wasn't used to the heel turns like that. I was used to just this is the good guy, this is the bad guy, and that was like one of the first actual heel turns I saw, coming up. So to me, it was just like I don't know why Stone Cold's acting like that. What is he doing? Like I didn't understand that he was a heel now. You know what I mean? If that makes
Yeah,
sense. So it was confusing at first, but I was still happy that he won the belt. And then the next night on Raw, Vince comes out, introduces him, the bottle breaks, and he comes out. I'm like, I'm glad he's champion, but I don't know why he's acting weird. I don't know what's happening right now. So, I mean, I guess it's your opinion, and people have different thoughts. It looks like Bandit got another question for you right here.
and where do I see myself creatively this year in the direction of my character?
Love
So
that question.
I've touched on it. I've touched on it. Corey Flash is a baby face at the moment in JTV wrestling. Corey Flash is probably going to take an edgier turn within 2K25. Not necessarily a heel turn to say, but he's going to be more edgier in his route to take down BKS. That's the goal. I think
Well,
Corey Flash.
for the record, you being edgy on JTV doesn't make you a bad guy. You being edgy on WWE does not make you a bad guy. We need to let some of that go.
Yeah,
Okay, being edgy doesn't make you a bad guy. You're just fucking kicking ass. You know what I
yeah,
mean? People are just not used to it in this age.
yeah.
That's that.
So I think that's the direction that I'm going to be going in 2K25 for JTV. I think
Yeah,
that Corey Flash best work is done when he's pissed off, he's angry. Um,
yeah.
his promo work is the best when he has a heelish type feel to him. He uh he gets over as a baby
I
face,
noticed.
but his microphone work, he's ruthless and he's relentless when it comes to a darker side of Corey Flash. I think in 2K25 JTV Wrestling, you're gonna see him tap into that just a little bit more.
I mean, you've been doing a lot of thinking. You've been going through a lot of growing, and I feel the same way that the next time we get on the mic, we're just going to say things that we're just not going to hold back. And that's always good in my opinion because it's always good to speak your mind. We need a lot more of that. A lot of people just restrain and they keep their opinions to themselves. Don't do that. Don't be afraid. Speak your mind. Do what you got to do. Say what you got to say. It only makes the world better to speak your mind. Last episode, real quick, I said things I would never say on any of these podcasts or live on the show, and it's because Nick took me there. And I want to say again that I don't apologize for anything I said on the last episode because I told the truth. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to go back into it. I'm just saying that I was a big fan of that episode. Nick respected what I had to say. I respected what he had to say, and he was brave enough to be himself, quote unquote, no pun intended. And I respect him for that. He said what he needed to say. It was a very controversial episode, and that's what this show is all about. So props to him. And this is about progression. This is about speaking the truth, being honest. This is not about hating on anybody, discriminating over race, gender, sexual preferences, or anything like that. I have all sorts of people in JTV. So there's a lot of evidence that I don't discriminate against someone because of their race, sexual orientation, or however they want to look at themselves. I'm open to all that. I just will not stand for ignorance, and I will not stand for people just not speaking their minds. Stop being afraid what other people think. You know what I mean? Tell the truth. Be honest with yourself. And that's why I like that Corey started just telling the truth on Twitter, because I understand that Corey has to be a certain way, professional wise. He has to be professional enough for the world on Twitter. And I want to tell you straight up, man, I don't want you to feel like you constantly have to go back into being real on there, because you have a business. It's your business. It's your business. You know what I mean? That's important. I don't want you to feel pressured by anything. If I've pressured you in any way over anything, I apologize. I don't want you to feel pressured over nothing. I speak my mind because I don't give a damn, but that's your business. But I do respect the fact that you've been calling certain people out, doing certain things, and I would be kind of remiss not to call you out, or speak a little bit about some of the stuff that I've seen. Man, you ran into quite a few pedophiles on Twitter, man. Let's just tell the truth right here. You know what I mean? From time to time, I run into these type of things. Some of these weirdos that you know want to try to come at you and whatnot. And this is not even talking to people in the comment. This is talking to your fan base on Twitter, who probably going to see this because they follow you, and you know that. If your fan base is going to tune into this and check this out, what message would you have to them concerning some of these weirdos and pedophiles and people that you've exposed? You know what I mean? Because they wanted to be vocal. You've had issues with people. What would you have? What message would you have for them if you'd like to say something?
My message would be that I got you. I got you with the following that I have and the platform that I have. I'm gonna, if you have something you want to come forward to me, I'll speak out about it. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid to speak out about it. We don't need people like that in our community. So if there's something, I got it. I'll take charge. Plenty of people have come to me about these issues, and it has gotten attention, taken over, and I got you. I'll take over there. I got you. Let's
There
see.
was an individual. There was an individual. I'll be subliminal with this, and I won't go too far with it. But there was an individual who, I guess, believes he's somebody because he. I mean, I'm sure he has more following than me and whatnot. You know what I mean? Shout out to you, brother. But there was an individual who wanted to try to talk about you, and he wanted to have his fan base, and I guess he's a radio show host or whatnot. He
We
wanted to
can
be
we,
vocal.
we can expose his name. I don't give a fuck. Expose that name.
I'm
Expose.
not. You can say anything you want to say. I won't. I'm gonna keep it professional. But this
I'm waving.
individual,
I'm waving right now. Hey, JD from New York. Hi.
what is the story with JD, man? Because this dude is from my neck of the woods, and
Yeah,
I saw he wanted to try to act tough on Twitter and whatnot with his people who don't know what the hell they're talking about in the comment section. But what's the beef with this guy?
he's got a following of a bunch of dumbasses. Um, he took offense to what I said because he posted a gif of Charmin, the Charmin bear,
Also, yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
the Charmin bear with the toilet
yeah,
paper,
yeah.
and it was in response to Mercedes Monet having him removed from commentary for her match at at Hog.
So
She had
he's
a
hurt over
match,
that.
so he got butt hurt because he's the
Yeah,
announcer. But all he's done her entire career, all he's done is shit on Mercedes. So what do you expect? You expect for her to come in and want you to sit there on commentary and continue to shit on her like you do on your weekly platform, your weekly shows? Fuck no. She's fucking the best women's wrestler in the game, and you expect her to sit
killing
there
it,
and take that
killing it.
disrespect from somebody like you, who in her
Right,
world is truly a nobody? No. And he got
right.
butt hurt because I said, "Here we go." I literally all I did was respond to it and said, "Okay, here we go," and he got fucking butthurt over it. So but it came back and slapped him in the face. A lot of people came to my defense, and the ones that did, I appreciate them. Um,
Yeah.
he got a following. His following came. He does a show and he works with different promotions. But he has like a YouTube show that he does, and his thing is he gets over for shitting on the
Right.
products, and
Right.
people follow him for that, for him shitting on the products. So that's his fame, and it's not that I have a problem with him, but for him to try to come and
Obviously not. He's the
attack
one with the problem.
for him to try to come and attack me just because I said 4 words over a gift that he posted is crazy.
Slow childish. Yeah.
Yeah, he tried to get his people to come after me, and they started posting. I'm gonna get real again for a second. He started posting
Yeah.
my mugshots. His people started posting my mugshots and shit. I
Right.
don't care, man. I do not care. It doesn't phase me. I've
Yeah.
openly spoken out about this multiple times, and what happened with me, why, and how I'm moving forward from it, and how I learned from it. So it doesn't phase me. They think it hurts me for them to go in there and post what they post. It doesn't. And the fact that he just sit there and let it happen, it just shows how much of a coward he is.
Right.
Big time coward.
Overreacting over a simple gift is it's just too much. I don't know, man. I mean, people have tried to come at me for years. Some of these clowns, in and out of CAW, who want to spread lies about me and whatnot, just thinking that they're going to get to me. It takes a lot to get to me. Corey knows, a lot of people know, it takes a lot for you to convince me to even make consider a reply to you. It just takes a lot, man. And this dude is over here sitting down, overreacting over a gift, and you're from New York. I don't know. You're probably gonna hate my
He,
guts
he,
after
he
this.
really he really is from your neck of the woods. If
He
you
is
want,
from my neck. He is. He really is. I don't know the dude. I've never seen him. I just want to let you know. If you get a hold of this, I don't know you. I can't say I don't have entirely a problem with you, but you mess with Corey, you mess with me, and I want you to know that. What you did was really childish. I'm sure you don't give a damn about my opinion. That's fine, but I mean, I had to figure out what was going on, and now hearing Corey's side of the story, hearing you lost your beak, so to speak, over just a gift, it's a little childish. And if you got something to say about me, I recommend you don't do it, because if you do it, even though I reached out to you, you know, you you're gonna legitimize me, brother. So please legitimize me so that I can have an opinion on you. But besides the fact, you're talking about the All-Star kid, and he really made you look like a little bitch. You and your followers. I don't give a fuck about any of them. Fuck all your followers. They got an issue. Let me know. You're from my neck of the woods. I don't do this talking, and that's not a threat. You know what I mean? That's just what it is. None of this talking. Anytime I had issues with anybody, I'm like, we can meet up, or you can come to my house. Some of these clowns out here, they think they got my address. I invite you to show up if you want to lose an arm. That's just it. You try to hurt me, I'm going to defend myself. I don't give a damn. But moving on, that's
let's
just what
see.
it is.
Yeah.
Um,
Next, Third Eye had a question. Says, if you had your own JTV pay per view show, what would you call it? I just
mhm.
think this name is cool. The Massacre of the Deities. I would call
What?
my own JTV pay per view show that. Yeah,
Say that one more time.
the
The cool match
Massacre
deities. Oh,
of
said
the
it.
Deities.
The massacre of the deities.
Hmm.
Damn, conscience. That's dope. Look at Corey.
All right, let's see.
Just a tip on
Favorite
that. Just a tip.
superhero.
Let's see.
Yeah. Favorite superhero character or villain from either Marvel or DC Comics. I I like Hulk. I'm a Hulk guy.
Yeah.
But I do enjoy Batman. I enjoy
Yeah.
Batman. I enjoy Spider Man. But Hulk is
Animated series Batman, or which one? The old school Adam West, or
I like
which?
the Adam West one. Yeah,
Okay.
Adam West. I've enjoyed the Batman movies that they've come out with too. I've enjoyed, which
Same here.
ultimately we're waiting on the next one to come out. It got pushed back another year, which I'm not very happy about, but it is what it is.
Same
Yeah, I
here.
was
Yeah.
gonna say
Yeah.
at this point just cancel the damn project, because there's yeah, you had the Penguin series to hold us over, but that was supposed to hold us over for the damn movie to come out this year. Now the movie's going to 2027. I'm going to
Right,
fucking wait 2 more years.
right.
Let's see. Barry said Space Jam with LeBron James movie. It was okay, but better than the OG Space Jam with Michael Jordan. The original Space Jam is fantastic. LeBron James Space Jam was all right, like you said, but nothing touches the OG Space Jam. Let's see. Adam Connor says, "What's next attire in store for Corey Flash? Since nowadays attires are inspired by anime or video games, what would it be?"
Yo,
Good
these
question.
questions is
That is
dope, man. Y'all killing
that
it
is a
today.
good
I'm proud of
question.
y'all, man. I'm proud of y'all.
Um, in 2025, I might tap into the pop culture side. I might have to do some inspired attires because my attire right now is blood and chained inspired. But I might have to. I might have to tap into something. I enjoy
And,
the cosplay
and
type attires.
and obviously, I'll answer it for you. You know, for those of you that was kind of confused about that, it really had to do with a lot of the issues he was going with in BKS. You know, and what happened at Showdown with his dad being assaulted and him, he was not a big fan of that. You know what I'm saying? But it definitely was a moment in history because it opened his eyes into a new version of himself, and he's still growing. But the chains and the blood really had to do with just the beat down that he got, and he took it personally. It was almost like a Montreal screw job for Corey. I didn't know how personally he took it until he came to my inbox, let me know what he thought. But I didn't realize how important that last showdown was for that moment, and it reflected on his appearance. I'll say that. Mike's yours.
Absolutely. That's absolutely what the inspiration behind it was. It was the whole BKS thing when it comes to this. And I'm going to stick with that same attire. But it is interesting that you bring it up, Adam Connor, because I think in 2025 I do need to expand my horizons a little bit. And there will be some inspirational attire that I tap into 100%. So it'll be interesting to see what I choose, though, especially with, like I said, pop culture. I might do some pop culture type of stuff. So we'll see. 2025 is going to be a great year for Corey Flash and for JTV Wrestling as a whole. Let's
Let's see
see.
if you're going to answer a certain question. Let's see. I'm going to wait to see what you're going to do. You're the boss.
I don't want to touch politics. I know his stance on. I know his stance on it. Don't want to touch
I see
politics.
it.
We're
I
here to
see
have.
it.
We're here to have a good time.
I
So
see it.
I'm not. I don't really. I don't want to touch politics. It's not my cup of tea. I try to stay away
Okay.
from politics stuff. But I
Okay.
understand. I see his vision. I get it. I get what he's saying
Yeah.
there. So
Yeah.
but I'm not gonna touch it personally. I'm not gonna touch it personally.
All right.
Shannon said, speaking of anime, have you got a chance to watch any favorites? I watched anime as a kid growing up, but as an adult, I really haven't watched much. I need some suggestions and
Let
how
me
to
give you one.
watch because I know you can watch anime on Crunchyroll. I know you can watch it on Crunchyroll.
Let me
Just
give you one.
okay.
Netflix, The Terminator.
Uh,
Me and Shannon seen some of it. You got to watch it with us sometime. It's excellent. I know we're still working on JTV Films Terminator Last Call. Some of that show is going to inspire the rest of the movie of what we're working on when we get back to it. I'm telling you right now, it's excellent. You got to check it out when you get a chance. You're not often available, but when you are available, we got to see if we could check it out. You know, that's that.
all
Shout out
right.
to Shannon.
Yeah, great question. Great question. I might have to tap into anime again. It's been a while and a lot of people around me enjoy it, so I might have to. But I'm a bit it's so hard to watch different things nowadays cuz I
Agree.
got so much going on. I'm not really the only time I'm really around is when wrestling's on at night cuz other than that I'm working and it's hard to sit
Yeah.
down and get to watch these series. Like last night I finally got to catch up on my show that I've been watching, All American. I watched like 6 episodes last night. I ended up staying up till like 3 in the morning catching up on it. So it's hard for me. I got to make time for it, but between the
Yeah.
gym, work, and then covering wrestling, it's been hard for me. So I got to start going out and doing more stuff. Multiple people have been telling me that too. So I might tap into the anime side now. Also, like I said, send me suggestions, and you can inbox me. You can send me suggestions, and I'll try to check them out when I can.
Yes, sir.
Adam Connor, what favorite finisher in pro wrestling? Rather, it's your character or in real life. Um, it's definitely not mine. I'm definitely not gonna be a homer and say Flash Traditional is my favorite finisher. It's definitely not mine. I like Zoe Stark's finisher.
Oh,
I like the
very nice.
Z360. I love that finisher. And where she puts him up and then flips him and hits him with the knee. That finisher is great. I think it's very underrated. I've noticed some people in JTV have used it. Um, but yeah, that's probably my favorite finisher. Um, and then my favorite signature, because it never puts anybody away in a match anymore, is the Blue Thunder Bomb. I love the Blue Thunder Bomb.
Mm,
I think the Blue Thunder Bomb is cool. So those would be my choices at the moment for finisher and signature.
very nice.
All right, let's see. Shendon said, "Don't you think it was fair for Shendon to do what he did to you at Showdown when Corey crossed the line with the Majesty and used the Amanda thing as a lie against him? Wouldn't you do the same?" No, no, I would not. I was trying to play mind games with Shendon, and it backfired. It backfired on me. I did get the mind games. It had Shendon rattled, but at the same time, I wouldn't have gone as far as Shendon went, beating the fuck out of everybody in my circle, beating my ass, beating me with chains. No, I wouldn't have gone that far. But you want to bring out a side of Corey Flash that you haven't seen before yet, Shendon? I told you, it's coming. You're not expecting it. It's going to strike, and BKS is going down one by one, piece by piece. Mark my words. I'll see you soon.
Mm. Here's an interesting question from Conscience and Miss J. Saray. What do you think of Miss J.
What's
Saray's
my
work?
take on her? Uh,
Yeah,
Great. She's fantastic. I've enjoyed her work in JTV. I love that she comes around every once in a while, and she
really.
pops up like in the chat. Yeah, it's cool to see her come around every once in a while just to say what's up. Hi guys, how you doing? Um, it's cool to see. I've enjoyed her little thing going with Third Eye on commentary. It's a different perspective. I like Kevin Impact, Third Eye, and Miss J over there with commentary, and
Thank you, sir.
she's been a good addition to the JTV team.
Thank you, sir, for the compliment.
Let's see. One of my favorite classes with Corey Flash is with Impact. If Impact somehow found his missing ball, would you team up with him or seek your revenge after that clash you both had at Ultimate Showdown? Well, to answer your question, I kind of touched on it a little bit earlier in the show. If there was one thing I could do right now, after everything that's gone down, let history repeat itself. I would bring Kevin Impact out of retirement and we would take down BKS together. Kevin Impact would be standing side by side with me because you took his child pretty much, Shendon. You took he was the brain of that operation and you took it from underneath him. And I think that Kevin Impact needs that revenge, and I think that he's got some hunger in him still. That if I can hit that nerve, I can get Kevin Impact to come back, and we could take you out together. I don't want any revenge on Kevin Impact. Ultimate Showdown 4 was fantastic. Legend versus legend. I don't need any revenge there. We've moved past that. If there was one thing I could do, I would bring Kevin Impact back to the active roster, and we would take down BKS together.
You know, it's interesting. Yeah, I keep talking about this. The second time this gets brought up here today. And for the record, I'm not missing my ball, Shendon. I mean, I have both of them hanging from me. And the real issue of what happened here is just father time. Father time, you know, it exists. Father time is real. That's what it is. but it doesn't mean that I still can't come back and beat the shit out of you. You know, for the record, I love the idea of coming back and just beating the shit out of you because I'm licking my lips and getting very interested in the idea of just getting in there because I really do like the idea of just fucking beating the shit out of you as much as I can, you know, with what's left of me and in my career. I chose to close the door because with the dignity that I still had left, out of respect for the amazing one, Mr. Amazing, had an excellent match at Showdown. I'm someone about quality. I'm someone about, you know, detail. And if I felt like Kevin Impact was not able to contribute to JTV as he should or able to in the past, he should not be getting booked. So if I'm willing to do that to myself, of course I'm willing to check anybody else. But I check myself before I check anybody else. You know, it was time for me to hit the road. I've been around. Nobody really cares about me being around. You know, they wanted me to move on. People were hating on me and just want to try to retire me rather than give me respect. And that's fine. You know what I'm saying? A lot of you guys, you know, in my eyes are probably more talented than me. And that's fine also because I'm not a hater. I respect all the talent in the world. But I had my time in the sun. I got my suntan. You know, the sun went away. Nighttime came. It was time for me to go home. I packed my things. I packed my sunglasses and Lou Welsh and everything. I went home. That's what happened. It was time for me to permanently stay home. And that's just it. It's you guys' time, you guys' era. Don't poke the bear. You know what I'm saying? Would I love to come back and tag team with Corey to beat the shit out of you in big cast? I mean, absolutely. You know what I mean? I would probably start with Funkman since Funkman got that cheap victory over me, you know, but he still beat me fair and square. So respects to him, unlike Keith Ocean, who needed to tap me out. I mean, so it's my show, but it's not about me. Moving on. You know, you never know what the future holds, Shendon. Wink, wink. Uh,
See,
are you going to see No Kills in Hell or what for this comment?
yes, we will be there together. Yes.
Oh man, I think he found the dude too. He put
No,
something up that I'm not.
he watches him. Yeah, he tagged him. He
Okay.
watches him.
Well,
He
I'm
watches his
not gonna
content.
put that up on. I'm not gonna put that up, but it looks like he found him. That's LOL right there.
Of course, he knows who he is. He's big
Yeah,
in the community. Let's
well,
see.
he. I guess he thinks he's big, but we're not gonna promote him on here. What other
Mark
questions we got?
Mark said, "How about Sonic the Hedgehog?" Mark, Sonic the Hedgehog's a legend. The cartoon and the movies that they've been making. Sonic 3 was incredible.
Which one
I
did we watch? The first one?
We saw two. We saw two
Oh,
in
we
the
saw
exclusive.
two.
We
Okay,
got the exclusive poster from it.
that was dope.
I still have it on
Yeah,
my wall.
we got exclusive posters, folks, for the Sonic the Hedgehog 2 movie. A
Yeah,
lot of
we did
y'all might
put
not
an
have that.
exclusive showing.
That was
So we
dope.
got
I
two
still have it.
walls. Yeah, mine's on my wall. It was fun. Sonic 3 was I think was the best one of the series yet. I'm looking
Agree.
forward to
Phenomenal.
Sonic 4 when they come back when they come back with it probably in 2027. Um as for the games and the cartoon character, loved it growing up. I wasn't a big Sega guy. Like I said, my consoles growing up were all Sony. I was PlayStation, but I did play other consoles. My mom would get me the other consoles. My sister was a gamer at the time. She gamed too. That's how I also got into Nintendo GameCube and Nintendo Color and stuff like that. So, but yeah, Sonic was a big part of my childhood too. My brother had a Sega Genesis, and we would play Sonic the Hedgehog. So, yes, Sonic the Hedgehog's a legend, Mark.
Hey, here's something. Colin's over here forgiving you for all this stuff, but I got a better thing to say about that. You and Sophia, when I paired you two, I mean, it was a big deal in wrestling, you know, because Corey was kind of doing some stuff. You have been total champion and whatnot, and then I paired you with the female, and then I introduced you to Sophia. What's your take on the whole me putting you with Sophia? And man, it was definitely a moment, but you know, do you think she can go higher? You know, if she wanted, made the effort, and what are your thoughts on that whole pairing?
The pairing at the time was a nice shock. Was It
Yeah,
was a nice shock to everything. Um, I think it's run its course now. I think
Okay.
it's officially run its course. Do I think that there's a lot more potential that Sofia Esposito could tap into? 100%. 100%. Instead of playing Call of Duty and all these other games,
Take
could
it
be
easy, man.
training on 2K.
Oh
Um,
man.
I think there's a lot of untapped potential in Sofia Esposito. She
Yeah.
could be the face of the women's division if she took it that much serious. Um, that is my thoughts on that. And Colin, you will
Yeah.
not get an apology because I don't give a fuck. Thank you very much.
Mm. Mm. Let's see what else he wants to answer to. I will highlight what he answers. Let's see.
Let's see. Uh, Third Eye said Tekken. Yeah, Tekken's great. Mark said Sonic the Hedgehog inspired gear. Yeah, I could see myself with the blue and white Sonic the Hedgehog gear. Shendon gave me some recommendations for anime. I'll have to check out some of them when I have time.
There they
Uh,
are.
yep. Let's see. Who's your favorite character in Streets of Rage? Adam Hunter. Fan of Adam Hunter.
You're killing me, Corey. Man, this man knows Adam Hunter. Y'all gotta chill out, bro. Y'all gotta chill out.
Yeah,
I
Adam
don't got
Hunter
a question on
as a throwback. Let's see. Colin's question: Are you going to pay me for making those photos of you and Amanda? Not that I made them. No, fuck yourself. Okay.
that. Mm-mm.
Uh, would you have a rematch with Shendon? And what kind of match type would it be? It's my ultimate goal. If Shendon is still JTV World Champion by the time I get my hands on him again, yeah, I want my rematch. And this time, I want it in a setting that nobody else can get involved in. I want it in a setting where he can't run away and be a little baby. Um, I want to be able to finish him and finish this monster and get rid of him once and for all. So yes, yes I would. Match type. We're gonna go to the underground. We're going to the underground. So if I get my hands on Shandon, it's the underground. I'm gonna knock him out, and it's gonna end him right there.
Hmm.
All right. BKS, didn't you also dislike when Impact was the leader? Yes, yes, I did. But then you went ahead and took it into your own hands and took him out. What do you think I would think after that? You did the man wrong after all these years. So what do you think? You think I'm going to side with you over Kevin Impact? No, absolutely not. If anything, I'm bringing Impact out of retirement to whoop your candy ass. Okay, then Shendon said some stuff to you. Said some stuff to you. He said you still got it, still in your prime.
I don't give a damn what Shannon said to me. This is about Corey Flash.
All right, let's
I'm
see.
retired. What else we got?
Shendon said, going back to your favorite top five favorite rivalries in JTV as a fan. Um, Kevin Impact versus Shendon is on the list. Let's see. VIP versus Kevin Impact is on the list. There's a lot of history there. Lowrider versus Kevin Impact is on the list.
I see you in hell. Man, you both. A
um,
lot of history there. Yes, absolutely.
and it says don't include Corey Flash, so I can't include myself in Kevin Impact, I guess.
Oh, he's
Uh,
making you pick matches. Okay, I get it.
um, yeah, because the matches are also I'm incorporating the matches into the rivalries. So these are matches. I'm trying to think of who else can I put in there. Um,
There's a great question coming up, but continue.
mm,
You
mm,
really hit the spot with that one, Bandit.
yeah, let's see.
Yeah.
I see it on the screen too. Let's see. I've said three. I've got to think of two more. There's been so many great throughout the history of JTV. Going back in the days, there's been so many that it's really hard to pick because JTV has had so many great moments over the years. Even before I joined JTV, it's had so many great moments that it's hard. It's hard to pick, especially if I can't
Well,
include myself. Because I've been a part of a lot of great moments here and a lot of great
y'all got to see the
rivalries.
matches with me and King Leo and me and No Kills, and from back in the day. Some of those old characters. So I do agree with you. Um, but man, you're right. There's been a lot of matches. Let me let you finish up. You got like two matches left. You're trying to think about.
I'm trying to think because I can't include myself. So there's I can't. This is as a fan without
What
Corey
about
Flash in the picture.
what about Knicks and Shen?
The rivalry is starting to heat up. Jaden Nix has Shendon's number right now, but
Oh, he's talking
uh,
about rivalries. Okay, I got you. I got you. I
yeah,
got you.
at this moment, I can't include it just yet. It's
Yeah.
because it's
Yep.
just getting started. It's fresh. Nix has his
Yep.
number. Nix has his number at
Yep.
the moment, so it's still fresh.
Oh man,
Shendon,
that's gonna get you some
Nix,
heat. I'm sure you
Jaden
don't
Nix,
give a damn.
Jaden Nix is Shendon's kryptonite, and I'm pretty sure no kills and Shendon, you both are gonna get your ass whooped by Jaden Nix. So,
Whoa, 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 whoa! He mentioned no kills. Oh man, we getting all types of edgy here. Mm-mm.
let's see. All right,
That's a ricochet in
I'll
your
try to.
world.
Yeah, I'll try to think about it. The last two down the line, and if I can think about two more, I'll bring them up to you, Shen. Let's see. Sonic Unleashed. Oh
That's your
my.
baby right there.
Oh my.
I don't know how he knew that. Maybe he follows you or he heard something, but Bandit is smart for that one.
That game was so much fun. I loved it. That's probably my favorite. I've said it over the years. It's probably my favorite Sonic game. It's probably my favorite Sonic game of all time. Let's see. Mark Bannon said Corey Impact. We all have three. We all three have beef with them. Mark, yes, we have beef with BKS, but I don't think I want to include you in the picture right now. Sorry, brother. You got other stuff you got to handle at the moment. Let's see. Shendon said, "What the fuck, Mark? We on the same side? Why you keep switching sides? Damn it, Mark." I didn't
Yeah,
say BKS, Shen. Mark, that you were insinuating BKS, though. We understand. Let's see.
yeah,
Do you think referee insurance was a mistake? No, because people take it too far. The referees need it.
yeah. I agree with that.
Let's
Referee
see.
insurance it's a good policy.
Enemy of my enemy is my friend type of stuff. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's exactly. We have a love hate relationship between Corey Flash and Kevin Impact, and that's the type of thing it is. Enemy of my enemy is my friend. 100%. BKS is better than the old BKS. Nothing tops Kevin Impact's BKS. I'm sorry, Shen. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna disagree, man. I'm gonna have to agree with that, man. The new BKS is definitely much better than the old one. The old one was full of some weird people and some soft ass individuals that should have mentioned me. That's
Well,
that top that.
well, we're not talking about them. I'm talking about the incorporation of the new guys that Shendon took from Kevin Impact. I'm not
Yeah, I
talking about
definitely
the
introduced it.
forces.
If that's what the OG thing.
Yeah.
I get it. Yeah, I get it.
All right. Which video game characters do you think are most iconic? Mario, Sonic, Pac-Man, Jackson. Which of them you wish they keep going like Pac-Man and Jack? Um,
That man said Jax, bro. I remember that. That was dope,
yeah.
bro. That was dope as shit. Y'all
Those
getting
are
me hyped with
all
it.
those are all classic.
He's throwing it to
Which
like
one
N64 or something like that.
which one do I think is the most iconic though out of those that you named? Probably Sonic, but Mario's right there with Sonic. I've always enjoyed the Mario games and I like the Mario movie that came out. Uh, so
Same here.
Mario's there.
Same here.
Mario's there
Big
with
fan.
with it. I've definitely enjoyed it. But yeah, if I had to pick, Sonic will probably be the most iconic in my eyes when it comes to video game characters. Adam Connor, who would you have loved to face that you never got a chance to in JTV? Hmm. Are we talking? We talking history? Uh, they think could say I could say now. I'll say now because we're in 2K25. We can do intergender matches.
Oh
um,
man.
um,
Mm-mm.
we mentioned her a little bit ago. I
If he says that name,
you can have her go up against me.
uh-oh.
Um, somebody. Let's see. I don't know if you guys think who I'm gonna say. It's not
I
Sophia. It's not Sophia Esposito.
oh, then it's who I'm thinking then,
Yeah,
because it
you're
wasn't
gonna
Sophia.
you're gonna have the All Star Kid versus Jocelyn Havoc
Oh my! I'm gonna
in
try to watch
JTV.
my. God damn it! That's some good TV.
We're gonna go to the
Now,
extreme with light and light tubes and everything.
can you imagine keeping a straight face with her kind of promo threatening your life? It's over for your career. You know
Oh, I'm
what I
done.
mean?
I'm done. I'm gonna.
Let
I'm
me
gonna.
tell you something, Corey. I'm gonna end you. Like, bro, I would have been rolling on the ground like Rob Van Dam doing a Rolling Thunder. It was just would have been bananas. I'm a big fan of the idea, man. The intergender thing is going to be dope. I talked to someone, I don't know, I think it was yesterday, that said something. I'm not going to mention their name, but they said they're not for it. And I'm completely for it in JTV. I love the idea of Jocelyn and being able to challenge Shendon, for example, for the world title, and women going up against some of the guys for their title. Amber trying to challenge for like the total title or something like that, coming
It's
after
gonna be. It's
Cerberus.
gonna be very intriguing to see how we can pull off a lot of this
Absolutely,
stuff.
bro.
Five.
Excellent TV.
I'm,
Excellent
I'm
TV.
glad. I'm glad 2K added that option into the game. I'm 100% happy
Absolutely.
that they did that.
Absolutely. Are you glad that they added Mike Michigan? I don't know. I don't know.
Red
I don't
shoes versus
know.
Mike
That
Michigan.
man name dropped
Goddamn.
Jocelyn Havoc. All right, what do we got?
We got to do GM mode soon for people. Yeah,
Yes,
it's
sir.
coming. It's on the way. When this man
All
gets
right,
gets settled into playing 25, we'll definitely do it.
it's gonna be fun, man, and streaming it is gonna be dope. We might even put it on this channel if you guys want to show enough love. If y'all could get this to 100 views today, we're probably gonna show our GM battles on this channel for sure, because that's gonna be good
Make
TV.
sure you all
Because
share the show right now. We got
yeah,
9 people
because
watching. Make sure you share it at the
you
moment so we can get them
you got
talking.
9 people watching, and everybody else is gonna tune into it later. But you got to think about this. A lot of these episodes have been groundbreaking, thousands of view, social media views on YouTube, on Facebook and whatnot. And with us going into GM mode, a lot can happen in that because it's not just us competing against each other. It could be me and Corey messaging each other, talking about, yo, if you give me this superstar, I'll give you this one. You know what I'm saying? So that in itself, and then it could be no kills working with Shendon. It could be me and Shendon working together. It could be me and no kills working together. It could be Corey and no kills working together. Corey and Shendon working together. So I don't know, man. That sounds fun to me. Just battling each other for ratings and exchanging
Oh
superstars and whatnot. It's a lot more fun than my faction and some of these trading cards these people be doing. But that's for kids. We grown adults, nigga. We play GM mode. And
We're
excuse
gonna
my
be fighting
language
for
if
these
anybody's offended
rosters.
by it. Yeah, we grown adults, bro. We do grown adult stuff on the 2K games. So I think it's gonna be dope, man. I'm excited about it. What else
Yeah,
we got?
I'm excited for it. I'm excited to tap into that as well, and it's going to be interesting to see how we can construct our rosters and fight for these talents.
You give me Macho Man, I'll give you LA Knight, Cormo. Right here, right now.
Yeah.
You know
All
what I mean? Ooh, yeah.
all right. Shendon said Corey Flash versus Jackson Crash. Yeah,
Let's just move
I
on.
want to
Let's
fight
just move
Jackson
on. That's a dumb question.
Sophia
How
versus
about
Corey.
this
Yeah,
match? How about
I,
this match right here? This is an
I'm 100,
interesting TV match.
I'm 100% down for that match.
You think she could give you a good TV match?
I think
I
she
think
could tap
so.
into her. I think she could tap into her full potential in the ring with me. I think I
Yeah,
could bring it. I could bring it out of her, and ultimately, if I bring out the full potential that I know that she has, then I think she could beat me. I think Sofia Esposito could beat me in that ring. She just needs to bring it out. She needs to tap in because it's there. She just the laziness needs to go away. It's there. She's a
yeah.
damn good talent in that ring. I need her to
I
tap in.
agree.
I need
I
her
do
to tap
agree.
in because she's the JTV. She's the women's champion. I need her to tap into that. Tap in and show to her full potential because it's there. She just needs to do it herself. We can't do it
All
for
right.
her.
All right.
My thoughts on the Iron Misfits. Mark, take control. That's all I'm going to say. Take control. You can do it, Mark. Step outside of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Do I think Amber could be a member of the Wolfpack? Maybe. Maybe. Let's see. Adam Connor. What will Corey Flash do if he retires from competition in JTV? Will he do an interview thing like Michael Cole did back in the day in the Attitude Era, or manager role, or commentator? What will he do still be in JTV? I think Corey Flash still has a few years left in this tank. Um, as for what he would do when he gets done with the in-ring competition, I think that Corey Flash is probably going to end up being an ambassador for JTV Wrestling. Um, I think JTV Wrestling. I think JTV
Ambassador.
Wrestling. Yeah, I think JTV
I see
Wrestling.
you in hell.
I don't think JTV Wrestling is going to go away
Retirement
anytime
2012.
soon. We it gets talked about all the time. If you guys continue to make
2022.
if you guys if you continue to make the effort, guys, JTV will
Don't
stick
make fun
around.
of my stutter.
But if you guys don't make the effort for JTV and share, like, comment, subscribe, everything, help the product continue to grow, then it is going to go away. But if you do your job and help us as talent within the company, we'll be here for a while. And I think I'll be involved for that while too. I'm not going away. So anything that JTV probably needs me to do, whether it's socials or popping up here and then, or maybe even potentially being an authority role, I'll do it. I'll do it. But the time is not here for that
Hmm.
now. The time is not now when it comes to Corey Flash stepping away. So that'll be something that we talk about when that time does come. Corey
But that's
Flash.
interesting. That is interesting. Before you move to the next one, because Mark had asked me the same thing, and Adam Connor just posed the question. It's interesting that you still feel like you have time, years to contribute to JTV. It's almost like the John Cena thing of, just because I went to Hollywood doesn't mean I'm not going to be a WWE guy no more, which I respect that. And it's interesting to me that you still feel that fire because, arguably there were people that felt, I'm not going to say no names, but there were people that felt and thought as if after Showdown you would kind of lean more towards, it's probably going to be it for me, especially after my retirement. I never wanted to retire and then have people follow. You know what I mean? Like certain people that was like, hey, I'm out of here, see you later. And then it was just like people follow that. I didn't want nobody to follow me. I just wanted to just close the book on myself because I thought it was time and I want everybody to shine and do their thing. And I am proud of you that you didn't look at me and go, if he's retiring, I'm doing the same. I am proud of that. Good for you. But the fact that you still feel with everything you currently have going on outside of JTV that you still want to contribute to it is amazing. It blows my mind because I've known you for a long time. This is your 15-year anniversary JTV, and we have you here talking to you, and it's like, okay, so when does the book close? And Corey Flash is like, what are you talking about? The book ain't closing. I got 50 years left in me. That's positive, man. I give you respect for that. That's very positive because I've seen anniversaries go by. I've seen talented people in JTV come and go that should have given themselves more respect in their career. You know what I mean? They should have hung around and should have not had listened to certain people and just know what the truth is instead of going off of somebody's thought and giving themselves time to really flourish, from a flower into a beautiful rose. And it's like they just ended it for themselves. And to be honest, you once upon a time did that. You know what I mean? When you turned over the championship to some other idiot, you know what I mean? And you walked away for a bit and then you took time to analyze what really happened, and who really is Kevin Impact and this and that. And you realize the truth. You and I hung out. You remember, you know what I'm saying? We agree with each other. We was either going to fist it out on the sidewalk in New York, or we were going to make peace. We met up. We had our beer. You had some good food. We went to the Hall of Fame. We had a nice time. We was able to make peace the right way. And instead of you and me fighting, I was able to convince you that I was truly a friend and I cared, not just about you, but of our illustrious promotion, JTV. So I give you respect for giving me that opportunity, but we went down that route. We made our peace the right way. And you came back, shocked everybody. You've been doing your thing ever since. And even then after that, here you are still wanting to contribute, still want to hang around and give years to it, and it blows my mind. I don't know how long JTV is going to be around. That's why I don't really try to hold nobody back. And I encourage people to do leagues and stuff like that because I don't know for sure. But while I'm on the microphone and I'm creatively writing and I'm working with you and Shendon and Conscience and everybody else, it's going to be fired. And you know that, and that's just where I'm at. So that's the reason I want people to support Do Their Shit, because at this point, it's not that we're in JTV anymore. And I don't mean to make y'all sad. At this point, it's like we're just riding the wheels. You know what I mean? The truth is the wheels of JTV are falling off. You know what I mean? We don't know how long this thing is going to be. I don't know how long I'm going to be around. My health hasn't been the greatest thing in the world. I've had to take a lot of vitamins, do a lot of things that I don't want to talk about on here. But anything can happen at any time. So we have to be grateful for this platform, thankful for what we have, and enjoy it as much as we can, because sad to say, the wheels are falling off. But we need to ride this thing as the wheels are falling off as best as we can. And for you to be on board with me, thank you, sir. Respect to you for that. Until the very end, Cormo, to the very end of JTV. Respect to you, sir. Thank you. Appreciate it. Let's see what else we got. Okay, so they talking about a dream match right here. Shendon is mentioning you and No Kills. No Kills obviously is a big part of the OJTV. So are you. Two legends going at it. What do you think, man? You know what I mean? What do you think of that man's progression thus far? He's made a little bit of noise. What are your thoughts? Your honest thoughts?
It'll happen. It'll happen. Him and I will eventually clash in the squared circle. Him doing his part on social, building up the reputation and the character of the elephant in the room, the whole character thing that he's got going on. I've enjoyed watching it. I think that it's gonna happen. I don't know if 25 will be when it happens, but it's inevitable for him and I to have some sort of interaction when the time comes
Yeah,
on JTV
I
television.
agree. And it's going to be dope. I agree with that.
It'll happen. Like you said, it'll be legend versus legend. It's been quite some time since he's been around, and
Yeah.
I've been here for 15 years now. So when we step in the squared circle together, I think it'll be a good one, and people aren't going to want to miss that.
I agree with that for sure. For sure. Here's Conscience with you. Another question.
Who would you like to see Third Eye go against instead of Will Smith? Let me see you go against Chris Tucker. Chris Tucker against Third Eye. That would be something I want to see. I think that would be pretty funny.
It would be pretty funny, but I want to make something very, very clear here. Just because Conscience has been involved with that simp Will Smith, you know, that's tongue in cheek, that's storyline, that's beef and whatnot. But Conscience is a professional wrestler. You know what I mean? Conscience does not belong in the ring with Will Smith and people like that. He belongs in the ring with Great Muda and Tajiri, you know what I mean, Jushin Thunder Liger, King, you know what I mean? Or Armor King if you want to throw it to Tekken, you know what I mean? He really belongs Nakamura, Naito, what's the other one? He's in AEW. Okada. You know what I mean? Like that's him. You know what I mean? He belongs in the ring with guys like me, Shendon. Like Conscience never really got the respect he deserved per se in Call, but Conscience Corey has been around a long time. Throwing it back to 2K14 before PlayStation Home went away. I knew Conscience. I saw him all over the place. I'm not going to say a bunch of names to certain promotions that I don't need to mention, but he's been a lot of places. I saw him at that time around the time Ray Geddes was around, guys like that. I'm sure you still remember the wars we dealt with back in the CC days, the CC
Oh yeah.
Mafia, all the, James Jr., all these people that try to threaten us. So we're going to put JTV out of business. Yeah, okay. Fast forward, we're still around. Where are you guys? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And a certain show who used to botch themselves into being a JTV parody back in 2K14 or 13. They had the audacity to tell me, "Oh, JTV, LOL, can't believe you guys are around anymore." Yeah, it is a LOL because we still are around. But what about your show? Oh, Silence by Nobody plays. Yeah, thanks for playing, bud. And I mean, so we've kept doing our thing year in and year out, and we've grown into what we've grown to. So big props to us, man. Big props to y'all, and big props to Conscience, who have been around a long time. Um, yeah, he's having problems with Will Smith, but that's not what Conscience is about. Conscience is about professional wrestling. He's about the art form. He's about speaking his mind. He's about standing up for himself when so many people try to hate on him and try to make him, they try to lowball him, try to make him feel like, oh, he's not a big deal. We don't really, he's not nothing too special. Conscience was always something special. I saw it. I just never knew that I was going to work with him. And we've been friends for a long time. I just didn't know him. We were friends on social media for a long time. But Conscience, I'm telling you, Corey, big deal. And we haven't had the opportunity for him to wrestle on our canvas just yet. He's done a couple moves to that other weirdo, August Alsina. He got to whoop his ass. He put some hands on Will Smith. You know what I'm saying? Jada got her shit pushed in by Red Shoes at Ultimate Showdown. You know what I mean? Conscience hasn't put hands on no Jada yet, but that's all prop. That's all propaganda and promo. Conscience is a professional wrestler. He belongs in the ring with people like me. Like I said, you know what I mean? Ultimo Dragon. Like, that's really Conscience. And I want that to be well understood. And it is going to be understood when we sign this man and he signed his contract to step into the ring, the JTV wrestling ring, the pro wrestling circuit ring, for the first time ever. It hasn't happened yet. It's going to be a big deal. I would say it's the equivalent that of when Sting came to the WWE. He's done business with them in the past, realistically, but he's never performed for them like that on WWE television. That is how Chris Conscience is to JTV. He's the guy that made a name for himself everywhere else, but he's not wrestled in the JTV ring just yet. He teased us a little bit on Mega Rush and whatnot, but he's not wrestled. So when it's time for Chris Conscience to rise to the occasion, I'm sure he's going to demonstrate to everyone the vision of what's to come, quote unquote. Let's keep moving on. Let's see what else we got. Adam Connor got a question for you when you're ready.
What kind of matches Corey Flash hadn't competed in, like Lions Den match or Brimstone match, where he didn't compete but love to?
That's
Uh,
crazy.
um, that's a tough question. Um, let's see. I would love to have competed in the Boiler Room Brawl. Um, simply because of the crazy shit that could go down in the Boiler Room. I could kill somebody in there pretty much. I'm demented, guys. I'm very demented. So if I had to pick one that I haven't competed in and didn't get the chance to, it'd probably be a Boiler Room Brawl.
Hey, you ain't got nothing to worry about, darling. A lot of us in JTV are tormented and demented as well. A boiler room raw with Corey Flash sounds excellent to me. I would vote for Shendon versus Corey Flash in a boiler room brawl. I think we need to get right on top of that. I would love to see Corey fight in the 5-star division that we got, the blood sport. You know what I mean? I think that'd be dope.
That's kind of carrying into the next question from Adam Connor.
Oh, is
Adam
it?
Connor says, "Could we see Corey Flash in the world of combat sports? Do you
Oh,
think you could do it under the JTV umbrella?" Well,
that's
yes.
dope. Great
This is
question.
something that the two of us have discussed for quite some time. We've talked about potentially having an MMA division, which is the 5 star, and we've talked about potentially incorporating boxing into the world of JTV also.
No,
Um,
we're
they also
reconstructing the division,
they also
rebuilding it little
could
by little.
100% go into the world of combat sports. I believe that I'm gonna, in my opinion, I think that I'm gonna tap into the combat sports type of style when it comes to Corey Flash. Now, I think I'm gonna go more to ground and pound uh, when it comes to 25. But we'll see. We'll see what comes next.
Yes, sir.
Corey versus Devin. It's his third eye. That could be. I could fight Devin Kilo. I could do it.
What do you think of him since he's come back? I mean
Great
that shoot
presentation.
promo he did at the Garden and
Yeah,
his first match at the ECW. Oof, there was some pressure
he
there.
wasn't supposed to be there. He wasn't supposed to be there. Great presentation
Right.
of I've enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Like I said, in JTV, anything can happen. Anybody can pop up. So I've enjoyed it, and I'd love to step in the ring with him sometime down the line.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
What dream match with a celebrity from Hollywood you would love to go 1-on-one with? Kind of like Andy Kaufman versus Jerry King Lawler in Memphis back in the 80s. Um,
Love that question. Big fan.
let's see. Channing Tatum. Remember Channing Tatum in the ring with Corey Flash?
Oh no, no, no,
We bring Channing Tatum
no.
into JTV with Corey Flash.
Jesus Christ. Shannon Tatum and shit. You gonna wrestle him with clothes on or without?
We going Magic
Jesus
Mike.
Christ. Magic Mike all the way. No lube.
Kevin
No
Nash gonna be there
lubricant.
too.
Hey, you can have Diggy as a special guest referee. He's got a Lockhart.
Oh,
Yeah. Jesus Christ. It's Disney card, Mo. You feel me?
let's see. Ray. Ray said, "Would the All Star team up with the Ice Wolf Ray and Kai?" I creatively,
I
I
mean, Ray's a good wrestler. I mean, it could be fun. It could be a
yeah,
fun tag.
like I said,
You
I'm
know?
open to anything creatively for my character. So it could be a possibility one day that we could have a tag team match together as an official tag team. Probably not, but I could see it where one day we're standing on the same side of the ring together.
Hmm.
Corey Flash going for the 5 star championship. Absolutely. Absolutely. I have my mind on gold. I don't care what type of gold it is. I'm coming for gold in 2K25. I'm ready to beat the shit out of anybody and everybody. That's my mindset. I will put the gloves on. I'll beat the shit out of people in the underground. I want gold. So if it's the 5 star, it starts with the 5 star and ends up with your world championship that you have around your waist right now. That's what I'm gonna do. So yes, I'm going for the 5 star championship.
And let me just say this though, because since I seen your progression back in the SVR days, I remember you telling me back in the day years ago, "Oh, I'm bringing it, I'm bringing it, I'm bringing it," and me wondering, is it true? Is he really going to bring it? And then I would see you win the total championship. Is he really going to bring it? And then I would see you win the world heavyweight championship belt. You know, so I'm telling you right now, I believe you. I do believe you. I just think that it has to be there. If the drive is there, if the dedication is there, if the motivation is there, if you put the time in, you train right, you bring pressure, don't hold back. Yes, I do see you getting the 5 star championship title and the world title again, and any other title that you wish to go after. I mean, Cerberus still has the total championship title he took from you. I think he's due for a rematch. You know what I mean? I would love to see you guys tie up again, whether it's underground or whatever. I don't give a damn. You know, I think that there should be a rematch. I don't think you should limit yourself. You know, Ray talked about you tagging with him. Them tag team championships. I mean, Sean Storm has got other stuff he's doing these days, but I mean, there's still plenty of people left on that roster. You know what I mean? That you could
Like
tag
I
up.
said, like I said, I'm open to anything and everything in 2K25. So we'll see what comes in the year 2025.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, what do we have here? What's this?
Would Corey
Well,
Flash team up with Shendon in some point in this timeline? Well, Shendon, let me just answer this real blunt. The answer is yes. Could could we see it? Yeah. Corey Flash could stand. I didn't think you'd ever see Corey Flash stand side by side with Kevin Impact and it happen. So would Corey Flash team up with Shendon at some point? It could happen. The question is, how do we get to that point? How could
Well,
we get to the point of
let,
Shendon and Corey Flash?
let's explore that real quick, because if you're saying that, that would assume and insinuate that you're hinting at the possibility that you're open to the idea of joining BKS.
No, no, no. If I'm gonna team with Shendon at some point, um, BKS is gonna have to be dead and gone before I even think about it. I'm gonna have
Oh,
to. I would have to then in turn the Corey Flash character would pretty much in the JTV world be the carrying cross where I cross paths with Shendon and Shendon character then turns around once again and becomes a better person. But for now, I don't see it happening. My ultimate goal is to get my hands on you and kick your ass. Um, but could it happen? In this business, you never say never.
so he's pretty much laying it out there that he ain't looking to tag team with the Majesty. He would tag team with the King of Legends,
That's what.
TLK.
Yep, that's what he just said in the. That's what he just said in the
So
comments. Teaming up with
th-
the
th-
King of
th-
Legends.
this is basically like back in the 2000s, somebody like a Diamond Dallas Page saying, I don't want to tag team with Hollywood Hogan. I want to tag team with Hulk Hogan. That's pretty much where we're getting at, which is
Yep.
dope. Big fan of that. Here's another one for you, I think. There you
How
go,
did the
right there.
All Star Kid moniker come about? Did it happen by accident or was it planned out? It was something that Jay and I came up with. We came up with the moniker when I was coming up with my character officially, because at the time, when I was trying to figure out who is Corey Flash, when I was just beginning, I was trying to figure out what the best thing is. We were pitching, and it just felt like the All Star Kid at the time was the right move, and it stuck. The ASK stuck, and it's just been with me ever since. And I don't think it's ever gonna leave. It's ever gonna leave Corey Flash.
All right. Here's another one for you from TLK.
What's Corey Flash's best era? That is very tough, Shen. That is a very tough question. I've gone through a lot of eras here. Um, I've enjoyed my time in every single era that has happened in JTV. Uh, we've gone down a long timeline. Like we've said, I've been here 15 years. If I had to say my best era and my best work, it's probably when I won the world title. It's when I won the world title. Um, before I ultimately walked away, which was dumb on my part. I think I was doing my best work in JTV at that time, which led to me defeating VIP and Kevin Impact. Me walking away and exploring what's out there after that and becoming an entirely new person changed me into what I am today. So I think that was my best era. However, what caught the eye of the boss man here, we've talked about this before, was when I was gone and the progression that I came about
It's
for Corey
facts.
Flash. Corey Flash was tapping into a new side that he had not tapped into before, and he was cutting promos and doing stuff. Even if he wasn't appearing elsewhere, he was doing stuff that he had never done before and tapping into this new side. And ultimately, like I said, that's what led to me being who I am today. So I'd have to go with the world title reign era. It was my best era. Let's see. So I already answered teaming up with the King of Legends. Yes, that would be the one. Shendon. Would Corey team up with the Skull Brotherhood to remove BKS? Well, Ray, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to tell you, but I'm not selling my soul to the Skull Brotherhood. So the answer is no.
Oh man, I can't believe he even posed that question. Where was it? Right here? Yeah, that
Yeah.
that was that man.
If I'm if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it on my terms. I've already said that. If I'm gonna take down BKS and get my hands on each and every one of them, it's gonna be on my terms. I have cards up my sleeve that I'm not gonna reveal. They will be revealed over time. So uh, ultimately, I'm sorry, Ray, but the answer is no.
I don't know that I would do it, Shannon, and you don't know if I would do it. So I see you in hell for that comment. Let's move on to the next one.
Yeah, that was. Would Corey Flash have his own faction to take down his? If so, who would be in your faction and what will the name be? Corey Flash right now is ultimately a singles competitor. I've talked about this openly though, that I would like to create my own group at some point. I think that it would be another good idea with me actually leading it and not taking it over from somebody else, starting from scratch. Um, who would be in my faction? I would like to bring in the Seal Brothers. Seal Brothers would be a nice addition to be by my side. Um, I'd have to get rid of the Fat in the Iron Misfits and bring in Mark Bannon. Mark Bannon would be in this new faction of mine. Um, I'll be honest. I'll bring you in, Mr. Adam Connor. You come in to my faction and take over JTV. Um, what will be the name of this faction? I honestly don't know. I'd have to think about that. I'd have to think about, like I said, I'm focused on single stuff right now. If I ever wanted to start a group again, I would have to go through creatively and think about everything because it's a process, it's a creative process. And I'd have to go and think about it. But I do appreciate that question. Uh, you've been bringing the pressure all day long with these questions in here. So
I agree.
I appreciate it. I appreciate you interacting here the entire time. It has been, you have raised some great questions, and again, thank you for this one as well.
Well, while they're coming up with some more questions, I have a bit of conversation for my own, and we are getting to wrap the show up here in about 9 minutes. We're getting ready to go on the third hour of the show. I usually end it around the third hour, so I'm getting ready to close out. But while we still got time, I wanted to ask a little bit about some of your experience from the Shinga back. You know, back. Kayfabe out of kayfabe. You did a little work in the Navy, and I'm not going to go too in depth with this because we're on here. But when you was out there, I would imagine that experiencing the earthquake when you was out there was the craziest thing you experienced when you was in the Navy, serving and whatnot. Do you have any possible short stories about your time there, experiences, and would that actually be the craziest thing you experienced while being in the Navy? That's my own question.
The earthquake was definitely one hell of a time. As you know, you were there with me virtually.
Absolutely.
It was one hell of a time. The building started shaking and the sirens started going off. You heard the Japanese language over the intercom started going off. My time in Japan, I had a great time in my 3 years there. I was a little restricted, obviously, because I was in the military, so I didn't really get to explore as much as I wanted to. But Japan was a beautiful country. I went over there at 19 years old. It helped mold me into the man I am today. So I wouldn't be Corey today without that experience in Japan. It was a great time. I got to experience their culture. The Japanese culture is so much fun. The I ultimately didn't get into anime while I was over there, unfortunately, but it's there's so much of it everywhere. It's an anime inspired country, pretty much. Everywhere you turn, you see it, and um, I got to go to all these different places. I went to Tokyo. I was in Tokyo a bit. I got to go to experience their baseball culture over there. Got to go to some baseball games in Japan. I went to some wrestling over there between WWE and Japanese wrestling. So it was fun. It was a fun time for me. Um, to answer your question, yes, the earthquake was probably the the craziest experience that I had over there.
I believe you. Here's a one from Mark.
Favorite Mark Bannon versus Corey Flash match was the first one, Mark. I really enjoyed it. Let me see. I see Shendon asked another question before that. Shendon said, "Do I miss my old faction, the blue and black one?" I do not. I do not. That's why I said if I want to start one, I'm gonna start it from scratch. I'm not gonna take over somebody else's group. So I do not miss that group whatsoever. Let's see. Who would you want to fight in
And,
your retirement
and if
match?
you notice, before he goes to the next question, if you notice, he's not hiding from that. He's answering all these questions. The only thing he said is he wasn't going to talk politics with no kills. He's answering all your questions. We're not hiding from nothing. We're answering your questions directly as you asked them. So here's Bandit. And by the
Yep.
way, if you don't know, Bandit's getting ready to come into JTV soon. It's one of the new guys coming in. So
Who would
that's
you
that.
want to fight in your retirement match? Well, it's the person I'm on the show with. That would be the perfect storybook ending for me. Would be one last match with Kevin Impact, but my retirement is a long way away, as I mentioned earlier in this show. So yeah, if I could get one more match out of Kevin Impact for my retirement, that would be it. Since Pumpkin Night, we could feel that Corey Flash has changed towards the dangerous individual. What was it about that night? Was it the atmosphere that felt so organic, or what, in your opinion? Um, I've just, like I said, something clicked in my mind. I, I definitely have a darker side. After Ultimate Showdown, I've been going through it a lot on the show. I've been going through it a lot, taking beat downs, not getting wins. I've just been in my head recently, and I think that Pumpkin Night was great. I always enjoy Pumpkin Night, the atmosphere in Pumpkin Night with everybody having their own characters and cosplays and everything. It's just um, Corey Flash has one goal in mind, and it finally clicked. Finally clicked that it's I've got to take down BKS. I've got to find every way in the book to take down BKS. So that's what it was. That's what it was. What would the match type be? Corey Flash versus Kevin Impact. I think Corey Flash and Kevin Impact could have one hell of a barbed wire steel cage match. All right. What was the match in JTV that you watched and amazed that you think is five-star match or one of the greatest matches in history, whether it's JTV or in real life? Your opinion. All right. So I'll go to the JTV side. Um, Kevin Impact versus Shendon was 5 stars in my opinion. Fucking incredible match. Let's see. In real life, I've said that my favorite match of all time is The Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels from WrestleMania 25. I stand on that. Um, the match was so good. Um, we talked about it a little bit earlier. WWE putting matches into the Hall of Fame, starting with Bret Hart versus Steve Austin. That's another one. It's another 5 star match in my eyes. This year, uh, can go. I really enjoyed. What was it? Omega versus Gabe Kidd. That was a 5 star match. Kenny Omega's first match in over a year. That was a match that had me on the edge of my seat at 4 o'clock in the morning. So that's another one. That's another one that I could put up there. There's been a lot of great matches that in my eyes have been 5 stars. Too many to touch about, but those are some of my opinions right there.
All right, we got a few minutes before we wrap up. We'll keep taking more questions from y'all. What
I
else we
see.
got here?
Shannon said you should thank your majesty for waking you up to break your limits. I don't have to thank shit. I don't have to thank shit. You didn't wake up anything. You just brought out a different monster that's ready to be unleashed, and you should watch your back. All right, watch your back. We have did we get any questions that you had on before the show that we haven't answered yet?
Um, from my private chat, uh, I guess Franchise wanted to know, Johnny Franchise wanted to know, what's your favorite match of all time, just in general? So maybe maybe we could go. Let's do JTV and let's do real life.
All right, so I just a little bit. I just talked about real life. Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels is my favorite match of all time. WrestleMania 25. Um, JTV. Hmm. Let's think about that. So it's gonna be a match that involves me. It's gonna be a match that involves me. My favorite match of all time when it comes to JTV. I and it's the one I won the world title. It's the one I won the world title. Um, the triple threat. I won the ladder match. I won the world title. I've that moment is special to me, very special to me. I'll always hold that because I that's two guys that I was in the business for many years with, in the ring with me, and it all came to fruition. My hard work paid off, so I'd have to go with Corey Flash versus Kevin Impact versus VIP.
All right, that's excellent. With that being said, we want to thank everybody for tuning in. For everybody that watches it after it
Wait, wait,
premieres.
wait, 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 wait. That we're not ending like that. Let me get this last one. Let me get this last one in the chat real quick. Two. And then we end at the 3 hour. Favorite drinks. Mark, Long Island iced tea is my favorite. Long Island iced tea is my favorite drink. I'll give you that. And lemonade for regular drinks. Shannon said, great episode, a lot of fun. Absolutely. I've enjoyed this. I want to do it some more. I love being on shows with people. It's great to bring out personality. I fuck with this. I can't lie. Different. Yep. These shows are different. I'm enjoying. Like I said, the City of Impact has been great from start to finish. I'm glad he brought me on here. What championship does Corey Flash has his sights on that he never won yet? What are they, and what would you love to compete for it? I want the 5-star championship. That's my. I'll go for it because I've already won the world title. I can't say that. So the 5-star championship is the one I have my sights set on. Last message to Corey Flash. You failed to prove that you deserve in a match with the Majesty Showdown, the last 2v2, and even versus Skin Man. Try harder. I had you beat at Showdown. Let's not forget that. You ran away. You ran away. You took the coward's way out. So until you can prove that you can beat me without panicking, doesn't count. I'm gonna get my hands on you again. And when I do, it's gonna be bad for you. So just stay on that side for now. Because when I do get my hands on you, you're done.
All right then. Well played. Well said. Good show. I agree with Shannon. This was a lot of fun. I'm glad you got the opportunity to answer a lot of questions. Adam Connor, excellent, just back and forth. Let's do it again. Definitely going to have Corey Flash come back on the show to talk about some of his future matches and whatnot, into 2K25 and whatnot. Just a lot of love. Smash the like button. Follow Corey. His social medias and stuff is going to be in the description of this show directly after this episode. Thank y'all for watching live. Thank y'all for everybody that watches it later on. For sure, for sure. This has been excellent. Thank y'all for being a part of the city. Thank you, Corey Flash, for being a part of the city as well.
Thank you for
We
having me.
invite you back. God bless you. I hope you have a good rest of the weekend. Everything goes well for you and the old man. And my inbox is going to be open to everybody. And before we leave, we just want to let everybody know that on our very next episode, episode 10, I'm going to go ahead and make the effort to invite BKS to this show. So it looks like BKS. I'm going to inject poison. I'm going to inject the City of Impact with a lethal dose of poison on the next episode to see if we can make this happen. But you never know. Guests switch up from time to time, but I'm going to make a commitment to try to bring BKS on the next show. I got a few other people I talked to that are coming on City of Impact. For the meantime, it's going to be BKS. I want to thank y'all for tuning in. You have a good rest of the weekend. And this is Impact and Corey Flash signing off.
Appreciate it.
All right, brother. Take care of yourselves. Goodbye for now. Stop that if you can.
Bang.
Emotional damage.